I'm not conservation.
If something comes down, I will. It's just.
Are we rolling?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Let's begin the Commissioners' meeting for May 4th. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's just get the regular business out of the way. We have a quorum. And let's say claims. Anybody have any issues or comments on the claims?
No, sir.
I'll move that we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We have the payroll. I had one question, but there was one employee that looked like they had a large pay, but it was because they quit. So they get paid out on a portion of their PTO, so that was that. Anybody else have any issues with those?
Sir.
I'll move that we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. We have the minutes from the April 20th meeting. I don't believe there were any modifications. I'll move that we approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Highway Superintendent.
Good morning, Donnie Lincoln.
Morning.
Highway Superintendent. Okay, first of all, the White Stallion Reclamation. I met with Michael Costello down at the Reclamation Mine back on April 21st. They said they will be finished up with the wash plant in a few weeks, and they will be heading down to 700 North. I told them that the roadway itself needs to be 20 foot wide, with a 4 foot shoulder and a 4 foot wide ditch on each side of the road. And then also make sure they get the proper culverts and everything else in there. There'll be rock on the north side from 580 north all the way over to Portersville West, like it was before. And then they will be putting down the base on the south side and will pay us for chip and seal. So we need to get him the price for the chip and seal, and they'll just pay us the chip and seal because they have no way to chip and seal it. And plus, if they get a machine in there or a company in there, hard to tell how much it would cost. So hopefully we'll get the whole thing chip and sealed. So just on the south side of 580.
And they haven't run out of money yet,
Not yet.
so we're still getting things done. That's good.
Yeah. Second of all, crack sealing, we received the new rubber crack seal along with the machine that we are renting last Wednesday. So we'll be crack sealing starting this coming Wednesday, May the 6th. So, and we're hoping to do that for 3 weeks or so. And then we'll be able to send, we get 1 week of rental for every skid of crack seal that we get. So we have a total of 15 skids, so 15 weeks. So we're gonna be doing it 3 weeks here, right before Memorial Day. Then we're gonna start chipping and sealing, so we're gonna send it back. And then we'll get 12 weeks in the fall. for crack seal, so. Hiring, we had 2 gentlemen that quit. Their last day was this past Friday. We did end up having 2 interviews with 2 individuals on Thursday, and we offered the job to one of them, and he did accept, so he will be starting on May the 18th or 19th. He might have to work that last day, and he's on vacation the week before, so it may be the 19th. So, Holland Trash Recycling Site. The individual that bought the Holland Site property offered to sell a quarter of the property back to us for $25,000. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I suppose ideally we want to keep the Holland site open. We want to keep a Holland site open. We have another option for moving it. I believe the town has been a good partner in allowing us to do that.
Yep.
Ideally, we'd like to own the whole site. I mean, we don't want just a quarter of it. It makes it unsafe and no room for future expansion of any kind. So for the quarter of the property that as it was drawn up, that wouldn't be anything I'd be interested in buying. The way that it was drawn up is just not enough space there. So that would be my initial thought on it. Commissioner Hofstadter?
I would agree. I think obviously we want to keep that site open. Having a secondary option for it. I think if we could buy the whole property, I might have an interest in that, but not a quarter of it. Or not even a portion of it, the whole site or not.
I agree. Both side or none. Room for negotiation at all would be great at this point.
What was that last thing you said?
Negotiation would be great if we could continue the negotiations with this, all the property instead of a quarter of it. We could keep that door open. That would be great.
Okay.
I mean, or if we wanted to, at worst case scenario, we pay half of the price for half of the lot. Or something so we can square it up and have enough room for people can do safe turnarounds, have people what if we need to add one more dumpster in the future? What if we need to add whatever? We're basically would be very tight the way that this is set up, and we'd be better off moving than having ourselves squeezed. It would be my opinion.
I agree.
Agree.
I agree too. I like it there. And also as far as the teachers from the elementary school, there's about 6 or 8 of them that park over there. There's always at least one bus, if not a couple of buses that park over there. I don't understand why he doesn't want to do it just for the town itself, for the trash site and then plus for the school. But so yeah, I can go back and I can bring it up to him.
We can keep
I
that door
understand
open.
somebody wanting to make a profit. I mean, it's a business thing, and I get that, but there's probably some give and take that can be done there.
He should still be a little more considerate towards the public of the town of Holland. So
Be very much appreciated.
Yeah, just let us know how that goes, and if you need one of us involved or all of us involved somehow, let us know.
now you would still have to get some estimates, or how does that work as far as?
If it's under $25,000 or at $25,000, I don't think we need anything. We can make a purchase of property at that.
Correct. Okay. All right, I'll talk to him.
All right. Thank you.
But to your point, if it went any higher than that, then that's when we'd have to take additional steps.
Okay.
At that point, we would have to get an appropriation and go through that process.
Okay.
County engineer?
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
Levi Lefford, County Highway Engineer. Start off with paving projects. Got 23 miles of road that will be scheduled for paving this year, with work anticipated to begin on or after June 1st. A complete list of these roads will be posted on the county's Highway Department's website. That list is outdated right now. I noticed that the other day, but we'll get that updated. Bids for various paving projects throughout the county will be open today at 8:30 a.m. Bridge 78 on County Road 600 west over Patoka River. I have no new updates on that bridge at this time. The county's contractor, Blankenberger Brothers Incorporated, remains on schedule and anticipates completing the work around mid-June, pending any unforeseen circumstances or weather-related delays. As a reminder, the bridge will continue to be closed to all through traffic for the full duration of construction. Bridge 107 and Bridge 240. Bridge 107 is located on St. Anthony Road North, approximately 0.27 miles south of Schnellville Road. And Bridge 240 is located on St. Anthony Road West, approximately 0.38 miles south of Schnellville Road. Both of these bridges will be closed this Thursday, May 7th, to begin the work. That work is being contracted out to CNR Construction, and it will consist of ridge deck overlays and hydro demolition. Estimated closure for both bridges is approximately 5 weeks. And in an effort to reduce costs and minimize the overall impact to the public, the bridges will be closed simultaneously. We will get you some information, Chad, to post on the Facebook. We'll also get that closure put on the radio. Moving on to Bridge 119, located on Club Road, 0.5 miles north of 264. The bridge crew has completed the beam and deck replacement, and it was open to traffic on Friday, April 24th. You may notice right now the approaches are a little rough. That is because we didn't want to do any asphalt work right now because Club Road will be paved as part of the paving projects this year. So it will be smoother after that road gets paved. Small structure number 16, Du Bois Road Northeast, located 1 mile north of Du Bois Cusco Road. Our bridge crew will be closing that bridge this Wednesday, May 6th, to replace the beams and deck. And that closure will last approximately 4 weeks, barring any unforeseen circumstances or weather delays. Next item of business I have is a temporary speed limit reduction. Excuse me. So the roads within the Crossvine Solar project area are currently at 45 miles per hour. Some of the roads are posted and others aren't, and the county's ordinance is if a road's not posted, it automatically defaults to 45. So it was brought up at the past commissioners meeting on 800 South about putting some speed limit signs out there since they aren't posted. And they got me thinking further to look at the project as a whole to consider reducing several of the roads throughout the project area to 35 miles per hour, just to help from the safety aspect. And so we looked into it to see what we're allowed to do as far as reduction in speed limit, because typically a reduction in speed limit requires a speed study be done in an ordinance as well. But after looking at the code, coordinating with our county attorney, looks like we can do a temporary reduction in speed. Has to be at least 10 miles per hour, and it would not require an engineering study. Does all that sound accurate, Greg?
It does, yes.
Thank you. So I went out to the site and drove around the roads, and also did a desktop review to determine what signs would need to be placed where. And I also coordinated with AES and asked if they would be willing to purchase the signs and post and also install them if I give them a sign placement plan. And they are 100% on board with that. So I'd like to, one, ask if you have any questions on this. Two, I would recommend to the board for consideration to do a temporary reduction in speed on various roads throughout the Crossvine Solar area. I've presented a aerial image that has the proposed 35 mile per hour signs. It may be hard to depict where each one is on there, but this shows where the signs would go and some of the 45s that would be changed over to 35s. So open it up for any questions.
Yeah, would you find it, any of these areas where there's a proposed change, would you find it a good idea to keep them permanently at that speed or just during construction?
Permanently can be considered at a later point, but that would require an engineer study, taking some traffic data and more looking into it a lot more thoroughly. So right now, I would just say 35 with consideration for potentially lowering it if it makes sense later on.
I didn't know if, since you've been the engineer for a shorter amount of time, if you went out there and were like, well, this, just from visualizing it, if you thought any of the spaces would be more safe permanently that way, and if we were considering changing it temporarily, then you could also, in parallel, consider doing it permanently. I'm not saying I have any concerns necessarily, but I didn't know if you did.
When I say temporary too, it would be for the duration of construction, so temporary could be a year plus.
And are the signs that they put up, are they going to be of the same quality, reflectivity, all of the same standards that a normal road sign would be, or will they be temporary signs, but like a wooden stake or something?
These will be exactly like our current signs are, metal posts, and it will be the same size speed limit sign with a retro reflective. It will be black on white, so it will be, we're going to do it to where we can ensure that's legally enforceable for cops to be able to write tickets. So we're going to coordinate with Sheriff's Department on it as well. If they're not enforceable, then it makes it difficult for Sheriff's Department to be able to enforce it. So we're making sure we're going to do it by the book and do it right.
And we have something signed with them and say they become our property at the end of it? I mean, I think we should.
Yeah.
If they're gonna put it there, why have them yank them up at the end if we potentially need them?
I would agree. That's what I would recommend to them. That would make the most sense. I don't foresee any pushback from them on that.
I would think so. So I looked at the map, I don't see any, or the other map, I don't see any issues here. Myself, Commissioner Hofstadter,
No, I don't have any issue with it.
Commissioner Stefano,
No, I think it's great. I think this
so,
is exactly what we need to do.
so just, you believe after reviewing it, all we need is a basic motion and you can move forward with temporary speed restriction?
I think it would be good to have a vote on it to get it.
I think your vote's appropriate, so it's reflected in the minutes that it was approved or disapproved in this meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the temporary speed limit reduction as shown on the map presented by the engineer.
Second.
Is there any other discussion?
Sure.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. So I appreciate your efforts on that, and I think that will help.
I told the board I would give some updates on the Crossvine Solar. I've had some emails with some concerns related to the highway side of things. So as it affects the highway department, I do take those concerns seriously and look into them. So I wanted to make sure I gave an update for the public's information as well. There was a concern with potentially inadequate site distance on drive entrance number 2 located on Old Road 64. After reviewing that, we confirmed that it did not have adequate site distance. I coordinated with AES and that drive entrance has been adjusted. So it now has the 400 feet plus of site distance. Another drive entrance located on 500 West, called drive entrance number 14. There was concern about inadequate site distance. I reviewed it. It does meet our requirements of 400 feet plus. It is closer to the 400 feet side, meaning it's closer to the minimum, but the requirement is met. So that drive entrance will remain. That being said, I did recommend signs to be placed saying drive entrance ahead. So there would be those signs placed on either side of it.
So what was the name of the first road that you said was going to be changed?
Old Road 64.
And does it have a number?
Drive entrance number 2. Another drive entrance, number 8 on Holland Road Northeast, brought up some concerns. I reviewed that one. It does have adequate site distance of 400 feet plus, but given the alignment of the road, I did reach out to AES to let them know that they need to make sure vegetation is maintained in that area. The county does come through and mows the ditches, but vegetation further off of the roadway's edge and potentially off the right of way, I could see causing potential issues with sight distance there, so that one needs to be closely monitored to make sure vegetation is being maintained. In general, I took a drive around the entire job site to evaluate every drive inference and just the project as a whole. And I had several recommendations on sign placement. These are temporary signs, so if you're driving through, they'll be the orange colored signs. Some signs said road construction entrance ahead. Some drive entrances had those signs on one side, but not the other side. And there's a lot of inconsistency with sign placement. So I got a list put together, went over that list with the AES construction manager and gave my recommendations on where signs need to be put at. Some signs contradicted, caused some confusion, so we refined and made adjustments to the signs. Give it a little bit for those signs to get installed. They have to order them, they have to call in locates, but there will be some slight adjustments to the signage to help make it the best that it can be.
So keeping in that area, I had so we get a lot of, not a lot, we have some concerns out in the area and videos that are sent to us, and I appreciate getting those. And one had 4 or 5, maybe 6, I don't know what it was, 5 I think, semis parked on the road, and it just makes for, if a truck is coming, if a vehicle is coming on the same side of the road as them, then they're traveling in the wrong lane. If they're coming from the opposite way, then they may have somebody coming head on with them. And some of the issues that have been out there, the road getting tore up, is expected. They're putting heavy equipment on. We planned on that. Some adjustments to the entrances. Those entrances had been approved previously, and now they're being adjusted with a new set of eyes. So some of that stuff is understandable, and I wouldn't necessarily say acceptable, but to be expected. But whenever I saw those semis all parked on the road, and there's just been a few other things too that it was kind of a enough is enough thing. So I kind of chewed on those guys a little bit to say that this just isn't acceptable. It's one thing to be a little inconvenienced, it's another thing to be unsafe for the community. And they looked at the video, they responded that that the trucks that were there were center point. And to the community and to me, frankly, I don't care whose trucks they are, somebody's unsafe. And so I guess my question to you was, does Center Point have a road use agreement with us? Are they responsible for tearing up the road? I know they would be responsible for being driving safely. I mean, there's already laws in place for that. Do you have any feedback on Center Point, their activities in the area, and what we can expect from them?
Center Point does not have a road use agreement with the county. Last year, I don't recall the month off the top of my head, but Center Point started their substation project located off of Holland Road Northeast. And there was some damage occurring to Holland Road Northeast. So I reached out to Center Point with concerns about there not being a road use agreement in place with damage actively happening to the roads. We had a meeting on it, which included AES, and the general consensus of the meeting was Center Point does not enter into road use agreements with counties. That's not standard for them to do. And that substation project, even though it was owned by Center Point, ultimately was intertwined with the AES project. And AES agreed that damages caused to the roadway by Center Point would be fixed under AES road use agreement. So for that reason, essentially project being treated as a whole, that any damages that occur from that will be fixed at the end of the project under AES RUA.
I got one question pertaining to this.
No.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so there has been a meeting. They're aware of the situation, and I know AES has talked to them again here recently since this has come up. So, all right, appreciate that feedback. Does the board have any other questions on
No.
that?
I do
Thank
not-
you for doing that.
But there's, again, minor inconveniences, dust, trucks, big trucks where there used to not be big trucks, that, I expect that, but they can't be parking on the roads and doing other things that are gonna potentially harm the driving public. So we're gonna keep on them with that, that's not acceptable.
I'll keep on the construction manager as well on that there, so let's get it from two different angles.
That sounds good.
The one more item I had on my list is, there was a temporary entrance on 500 West, if you want to call it an entrance, because the county did not approve it. It's located over crest of a hill. There were several concerns that got brought up from the public about the use of that entrance being in a blind spot. I asked AES to discontinue use of that. It appeared it might have been potentially used because of tracks in there, so I asked them to put barricades over it or something. They said they would be placing barricades. I need to verify to see if that's been done, but I just wanted to make sure that locals that had that concern knew that I did follow up on that. That's all I have on Crossvine Solar.
Anybody else on the board have comments or questions on that?
No, thank you for everything you're doing. Appreciate
You're welcome.
that. Thank you.
I want to give an update.
Well, how about this, one other one, on the Center Point deal, do you know how much longer they're going to be delivering, the quantity of items that they're delivering? I mean, they're doing transmission line, poles, I mean, that seems like one of the larger items that they're bringing in.
I don't know how their construction's gonna be sequenced, so you're gonna have fence, you're gonna have the solar panels themselves, you're gonna have the structure, the posts that the panels are on. So depending on how the sequence of the construction goes, it may be a continuous delivery of materials, or it may be deliver them all. I can't answer that.
And as far as, I know you're not law enforcement, but as far as there being vehicles on the road, large skid steers, anything like that, is that allowable?
You cannot put the traveling public in harm's way. So a project of this nature, it's held to a higher standard. They need to make sure they're making it safe for the traveling public. If you're blocking the entire lane, one lane of road, there are guidance called the MUTCD. I say that over and over again, but really that's the standard, universal standard for traffic control. And just because something is temporary, meaning they're only there for 5 or 10 minutes, there's still things that they need to be, measures that need to be taken to follow MUTCD to ensure it's safe. So again, project of this size, they need to be followed.
I believe what they told me was when those vehicles go, they will have escorts. There will be somebody in front and somebody behind them. I think in the video that somebody sent us was they had an escort behind, but not in front. And in some of these where the trucks are stopped, they don't have flaggers, they don't have signage, at least some of the time. Yeah, I'm with you. Again, it's just not, some of these behaviors aren't acceptable.
I agree.
Okay.
The Bridge Safety Improvement Project, this is the federal funding that we applied for and were awarded for guardrail improvements to various bridges throughout the county. After reviewing the letters of interest that I received, Lockmuller received the highest score. NDOT has approved the RFP selection review checklist and authorized DuBois County to begin contract negotiations with Lockmuller. I've informed Lockmuller to begin preparing a draft contract utilizing NDOT's boilerplate agreement. So that is in the works. And as a reminder, we must be under contract with the consultant by August 1st of this year, or the funds are forfeited. So we'll keep things moving along. Last item of business I have is the ADA transition plan update. In March, NDOT notified LPAs of a policy change regarding the ADA transition plans. Effective immediately, NDOT will no longer accept VCAP letters. VCAP stands for voluntary commitment letter as substitutes for formal compliance documentation. As a result, the previous 90-day grace period has been eliminated, and all entities must now provide a fully executed ADA transition plan to meet regulatory requirements. Good news is, the county stayed a few steps ahead and figured this might have been coming. We didn't want to lose funding. We didn't want to lose funding or prevent ourselves from being ineligible for future funding. So we coordinated with Lockmuir to prepare an ADA transition plan. And so far, the field assessments has to be done for each county-owned facility, have all been completed as of last week. So Lockmuir is bringing all that data back to the table, and they're starting to prepare the plan. NDOT gave a July 1st submission window to submit the plan. So I told Lockmuir we need to have that plan done by then to make sure we're in compliance. So that's the plan.
Okay, it's almost time to open the bids, but we will see. Commissioner Stefano, do you have any other questions for the engineer?
No, I don't. Thank you very much.
Down here.
So did you have a chance, either of you, to catch up with that person on 760, that landowner, the holdout? The what? The holdout on 760? Those people that wanted the
The chip seal.
chip seal? And one guy said no? 760 East?
And they want what?
Ian, didn't you?
Oh, yes, no, I did not check with that local farmer, I'm sorry, I did not check with him yet, he's been busy.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll
Again, just keep it on the to-do list at some point.
yeah.
If you're up there for some other reason, or whatever, however that works.
That's the only thing we can check on right now, is just hoping maybe he would sign.
Maybe he doesn't, then we know where we are, but, yeah. Again, it was an issue with a fence or something, right? Potentially that somebody, or do you know? Like that if we had the right of way, then the fence would be at risk or something?
Yes, yeah.
Which is understandable. I mean, if it was me, we aren't gonna mess with it, but we could mess with it. So, I mean, if that was my property, I'd.
Actually, I think on his side, it does not even have a fence.
Oh, is that right? I thought on
Maybe in the very far north side, that little section there, and it's not it's like an electric fence, it's like, so, one more.
And let's just go ahead and open the bids, and I have one or two other things for the highway department, but we'll come back to that.
Okay, we're opening bids for projects 2026-02. I think we're going through 2026-07. 02, there are 3 bids, bid from CalPAR Paving. That bid is in the amount of $93,495.05. It's 93495.05. Next bid on 2026-02 is from CNR Construction. Their bid is in the amount of $117,730.25. 117730.25. Final bid on project -02 is from E&D Paving. Their bid is in the amount of $104,300, 104,300.00. I will move on to project 2026-03. Bid opening starting with CalPAR Paving. Their bid is in the amount of $54,248.45, 54248.45. Next bid is from CNR Construction. Their bid is in the amount of $53,861, 53861.00. Final bid for this project is from P&D Paving. Their bid is in the amount of $60,950, 60950.00. I'll now move to openings for project 2026-04. First bid is from Calcar Paving. Their bid is in the amount of $307,992.60, 307,992.60. The next bid will be from CNR Construction. Their bid is in the amount of $323,741, 323,741.00. Next will be a bid from J.H. Rudolph and Company. Their bid is in the amount of $347,783.55, 347,783.55. Final bid for project -04 from E&D Paving. Their bid is in the amount of $334,000 even, 334,000.00. I'll now move to project 2026-05. First bid is from Calcar Paving. Their bid is in the amount of $235,582.05, 235,582.05. Next bid will be from CNR Construction. CNR Construction's bid is in the amount of $254,225, 254,225.00. Next bid is from J.H. Rudolph. Their bid is in the amount of $257,947.80, 257,947.80. Final bid for project 05 is from E&D Paving. That bid is in the amount of $261,700, 261,700.00. Moving to project 2026-06, first bid open from Calcar Paving. Their bid is in the amount of $188,569.70, 188,569.70. C&R Construction bid. It's in the amount of $184,348.00, 184,348.00. Next will be from J.H. Rudolph and Company. Their bid is in the amount of $180,575.40, 180,575.40. Final bid for project 2026-06 from E&D Paving. Bid is in the amount of $183,080.00, 183,080.00. Our final project to open today is project 2026-07. The opening bid from Calcar Paving. Calcar Paving's bid is in the amount of $178,101.05, 178,101.05. Next bid will be from C&R Construction. C&R's bid is in the amount of $171,578.00, 171,578.00. Next bid is from J.H. Rudolph. And their bid is in the amount of $176,099.60, 176,099.60. And our final bid for the day is from E&B Paving on project 2026-07. Their bid is in the amount of $172,409, 172,490.00. Thank you.
I'll take these under advisement with the intentions to recommend award later in the meeting.
Thank you. Solid Waste Management District staffing. Good morning.
Good morning. Carla Striegel-Winter with Du Bois County Solid Waste Management District. I did send you guys some information in advance and also the link to what was discussed at the, council meeting, but I also have hard copies for you.
I have that, thank you.
You have it? We have it as well.
I have it, Carla.
Alrighty.
Miss Beer.
Alrighty. So basically, this basically has to do with our route driver position. The council or the county is in the process of doing a wage study. As part of that, we were kind of asked to look at our job descriptions and if there were any changes that we, wanted. So at that time, in December 2025, January 2026, I talked to Marky about the route driver position, and he had agreed that going with a CDL sounded, like a CDL required instead of preferred, sounded like a good way to go. So at that time, we had the incumbent job description that we turned in that hadn't been changed since 2021, and then the 2026 going forward job description that we had turned in for the wage study. So the wage study isn't quite done yet. And my current route driver has been on medical leave since the beginning of February, will be coming back this week, and will be retiring June 5th. So I kind of had to move forward with that instead of just letting the wage study kind of take care of that. So I kind of needed to look at the route driver position. So I approached the council about funding a position that would be basically $2.50 an hour more. The reason for this is I reached out to Ann at the highway department to kind of find out what their incoming just CDL truck drivers came in at, and that is $23.08. So that is why my request was to fund this position at $23.08 per hour. So then I had to look and see, afford this year without any additional appropriations. And since he has been taking unpaid leave, as I show in the kind of the breakdown toward the bottom of the page there is plenty in that line item to pay for that at the new rate for the remainder of the year. I looked at the extra FICA required, the extra perf required. Sandy thinks that should not be an issue, but she would review it in December just to because sometimes that stuff changes throughout the year. So basically, I went to the council at their 427 meeting, and they did approve the pay contingent upon the commissioner's approval as well.
I did listen to the meeting. Did they do the 2308? Is that what they said?
Yes,
Basically not to exceed that amount.
that was my assumption, because that's what I was asking for. I know there were some questions from them about, wondering how difficult it might be to get a route driver, but I was just wanting to go with what the pay, and then my feeling is that the wage study will be complete. And then once that's complete, if there's any changes that are suggested within that, we can handle that for the 2027 budget. If there's anything that's recommended,
Sure.
then that can be handled again during the 2027 budget. So yes, mine would be the max 2308 per hour for the remainder of 2026. Then going forward, we kind of have those discussions based on what the wage study says, just like with any of the other positions out there.
My only concern with it is I would hate for somebody that came in that wanted the job and was seemingly qualified, you're really happy to get them, now you can't. Whenever we left it where it's preferred, then you still get more, you have more decision making and flexibility. I'll trust you to take your word for it. If you want to add this, and I will vote in favor of changing the job description if you want, but I don't want to box you in any more than necessary. But if you think that it's better to do it that way, then that's fine.
Just from my discussions with other, I had some discussions like with Jeff Tyson at the city of Jasper and, a couple of other heads and just that when you have that required, you're getting somebody that has to be set to a certain standard. Whereas otherwise you're not really sure what you have until you know.
And it stops you from settling for somebody that may be under the qualifications that you want just to fill a position. So this way it forces you to find somebody that at least went through those standards.
Right.
So that's a good point. I don't have any-
Yeah, and then just sort of at the very bottom, I have the annual expenditure differences going forward. That is based on the 26 pay rate, because that's all I have to go by, but we'd be looking at a gross wage difference of about $4,500 annually, going forward, which obviously would be more than that going forward, but just based on the 2026 rates. So the council seemed fine with that as well, and like I said, they were just made that contingent on commissioners also approving.
Okay. So we have two actions in front of us. One to approve the change of the job description. Number two would be to support or not support the wage increase.
Wage increase would be included in either an LTC 4 or an LTC 5 on the wage study, on the wage scale. That's the sheet she made. Because she.
Sorry, you say they have to say which.
No,
Oh.
I'm just telling them.
Oh, right,
You're
'cause
at the
I
top of the 4, but you'd be in the middle of the 5.
Yeah, sorry, I gave you that page and then I didn't say anything about it. It basically, yeah, it's showing that it is currently classified as a 4, and that pay rate falls in between both the 4 and the 5, so there will be no classification change needed. If the wage study shows that should be classified as something higher, which I think it probably would be with the CDL. It might be classified as a 5 instead of a 4. So it still falls within the range within that.
So anybody have anything else?
No,
So,
I covered every aspect of it here, so, yeah.
And I'll echo what the council said. You did a thorough job, and that makes it a lot easier to kind of know what
Thank
we're
you.
going against. So I'll make a motion, we approve the change of the job description and support the wage increase as the county council sees fit.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
No
All in
discussion.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Anything else today?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
For being so thorough.
Thanks.
We're a couple minutes ahead, but if the board is okay, let's move ahead with the RISE peer recovery update.
Sure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you all are doing well. I did send Sandy a copy. I don't know if
Did they not get it? I'm sorry, I wasn't here Friday, so.
I sent it yesterday.
Oh.
That was a long-
We did get it, all right.
I thought you guys were included on that.
The impact report, yes.
It was a long working weekend for me, so. I wanted to make sure I got this to you guys.
How about you just read it to us sort of so that the public can hear it as well?
Absolutely,
We have a copy, but then that way people know what you're doing and why we're supportive of it.
absolutely. So again, my name is Vanessa Phillips. I'm the Director of Forensic Services for RISE Peer Recovery, and I oversee our Justice Involved programming with RISE. We're a grassroots peer recovery community organization that serves Du Bois County. I'm here to talk about our IRAPS program today, which is implemented inside the Du Bois County Security Center. So previously, you guys had approved some funding that helped us with sustainability. And Q1, which is from January 2026 through March of 2026, I have some data to share with you with some kind of overview impact. So since the beginning of this year, we've served 224 individuals through the Security Center. We've done 596 individual one-on-one check-ins with individuals, over 800 engagements. We facilitated 135 groups in those 3 months, and we provided over 446 hours of direct face-to-face contact. We have currently a 54% completion rate, which is above our metric standard for success. On average, people spend around 35 days with us, and I will say that that's specifically because of the pretrial. People come in and leave pretty quickly from the security center, and we only follow them for 30 days. So with them staying with us for that 35-day range shows that they're really staying engaged after they leave the jail, which is really great for us. And this may not make sense right now, but we had an 8.6 increase in our BARC 10. So what a BARC 10 for us is measuring recovery capital for our individuals. So we're asking them questions like, are they, do they feel like they no longer need drugs and alcohol to be a part of their life? Do they feel a part of their community? Do they feel, are they able to engage with a range of professional people? So asking them different questions and kind of see how more involved they're getting with their community, with themselves, and with their recovery. We provide recovery planning, care coordination, resource navigation, and reentry support. We've increased treatment access, helped individuals with employment, education, family reconnection, and ongoing peer support. Samantha Striegel is now our recovery representative on the DCARC, and we attend the JRAC leadership meetings. We are also working closely within the system to implement a collaboration with the psych residency program. So I've been having meetings with the sheriff's office, have a meeting at the end of this month with the judges and the prosecutor's office. So we have an opportunity to collaborate with the IU Psych Residency Clinic, which will provide a full-time psychiatric resident once a week to the jail. And by full-time, I mean 8 hours a week. And that'll help increase medication management, more target our mental health population to determine what we can do to better support them and what routes we can take to help them if they're experiencing these psychiatric emergencies within the security center. So that's hopefully going to be a success, and we're projected to launch that in July of this year when the new psych residency students start.
So if RISE wasn't in there, what kind of treatment would people have?
So most jails have a collaboration with their medical providers, and they provide basic, maybe some MRT classes, things like that. But what they don't offer is someone specifically that works in the community or that reentry support. So individuals are able to gain some things while incarcerated, but what we really kind of, I think, are more unique and special is we can help them post-incarceration the most. Every participant that we've had leave and go to community corrections in the last 3 months, we've helped them gain full-time employment even prior to leaving the jail. So they've had job interviews set up for the day that they are released. We've been able to help them really strongly with that. We've had a number of individuals graduate our 17-week matrix program, and this year we started our sustainability billing recovery works. So we're no longer in a contract with the state. Our sustainability planning is billing for our services, and we've been able to generate $115,000 so far. The only caveat to that is every participant has a billing cap for a lifetime of $3,000. So strategically looking at how we can support them, and that they've already become reincarcerated, what that looks like for our program. We also partnered with the DCARC to obtain some reentry support funding. We obtained $3,000 to buy things like phones, toiletry kits, phone cards, gas cards, food cards. So far, we've given out 11 phones and 11 phone cards. We've given 8 $25 gift cards. We've distributed 10 hygiene kits. We still do not have anyone that's in need of a gas card. We found that, not a lot of people have transportation needs, right? So we're gonna purchase some more phones and more food cards to reallocate some of those funds. So they've been very effective and appreciative, and early, we've seen a huge increase in collaboration and communication with our reentry peer, given some of the phone. What else here? We've had 143 new intakes, and of those, and then additionally 45 reactivations. So someone has come back to the security center that's previously worked with us. We had 45 individuals. Let me see here. Something that the state looks at and evaluates for us is high-level system impact. We've had a 34% reduction in EMS utilization in Du Bois County, and there's been a 15% reduction in emergency department visits. And they look at that kind of now that we've had some more implementation of different systems across the sector of the justice involvement. So hopefully we can continue to see success in decreasing some of those numbers.
So with those numbers, does that mean people aren't utilizing those as much from the jail or after their
In general,
reentry?
community-wide, yeah, so they're looking kind of at the whole system. Since we do have more peer support in the aftercare kind of area, how are we utilizing some of that? Well, I know LifeSprings has also implemented a crisis, kind of some stabilization beds too. So our peers have actually been utilizing those more as well, instead of sending people or diverting them to the emergency room department. Some of our continued challenges are, lack of transportation. We have had an increase of accessing birth certificates for individuals. Just in this 3 months, we've been able to obtain 10 birth certificates for individuals, and that doesn't cost them anything. We're able to obtain those for free for them, which then in turn gets them an ID and a social security card as well. So quicker turnaround on getting them employed. Our biggest challenge, I would say, is our behavioral health needs inside the security center, which is why we've had the taking on the meetings and implementing the psychiatric residency clinic. The sheriff and the jail team is very excited about moving forward that project. I'm looking forward to having that meeting with the judges later this month to kind of let them know how this can help them as well within the court system and utilizing those services. So things that we've done strategically, like I said, we've implemented billing for sustainability. We've increased our collaboration with Safe Haven and LifeSprings, utilizing our resources there. We've developed a whole re-entry checklist that our reentry peer sends out for anyone that re-enters into the community to our cross-system partners to let them know kind of what's going on with that individual, what their needs are, and kind of what they've been working on, and that's been really effective with communication. We're strengthening our partnerships. Samantha took on the role of being the recovery chair for the DCARC, which has helped us with sharing information and communication across the board. And then I've gone ahead and shared some success stories. One of which I think kind of speaks to our mental health challenges. We had a gentleman, I can't share his name, but he's had an ongoing lengthy history of incarceration, mostly due to mental health. And this time around, the courts were like, we have no idea what to do with him. Please, whatever you can come up with, creative solution, let us know. And so I was like, what are you willing to do? What can we, what are our sentencing guidelines? Those are decisions that I can't control, but I can find resources. And after meeting with him, he's like, I've never been really allowed to pick the treatment that I want to go to. I've always been told where I have to go or what I have to do. And I said, okay, what are you looking for? What type of environment are you looking for? And after sitting down with him and coming up with some options, we made a phone call to a program that's a 90-day program up in, they're based out of Bloomington, but they have houses throughout Indiana. And we were able to do the assessment and intake, and he was accepted to the program. And the court, and he also was like, I just want to do this program and be done with probation. I was like, well, I can't control your sentencing terms, but we can talk to the courts and I can help you advocate for yourself. If I do this program, can I be done with probation? Because he had never been successful before. And so we talked to the courts, we submitted all the information they needed, and they're like, okay, you commit to doing this 90-day program, we'll set the terms of your information to that program so we can put it in the order and send you there. And if you successfully complete, you're done. And so Samantha and I were able to drive him to treatment and drop him off, and he had a little bit of a bumpy start. But since then, he has been fully compliant with medication management, which he's never been before. He's received the Recovery Resident Star a couple times while he's there. He's gainfully employed. He has a electric scooter that he gets around on because he doesn't have a license. He's able to buy with his own money. And he texts Samantha and I almost every day. And he's about 20 days away from completing that program, which the longest I think he's ever made it before was maybe a week. So I want to knock on wood a little bit, but he's doing really well, and we're really, really proud of him. And I've been able to share that with the community stakeholders, and they're like, wow, we never would have thought, we never would have expected that from him. And even if this isn't a permanent change for him or it doesn't last long term, this is almost 90 days that he has made it on his own, compliant with something, and can successfully complete something. So we're really, really proud of him. What else? Oh, this is something that's really cool too. We had someone that came out of jail and really thought that he could do it on his own. And then after a couple of days, he reached back out to Samantha and said, hey, I need some help. I need to go somewhere. And at a moment's notice, we were able to get him to a program down in Evansville called Now Counseling. They have a full continuum of care with supportive recovery housing. He completed the partial hospitalization program and their intensive outpatient treatment. He's remained engaged with us, and since kind of getting settled and squared away, he's enrolled in Ivy Tech Community College down there to continue his education. He's in their mechanics program, and he began classes in March. So we're really, really proud of him. He has a sponsor, he attends meetings, and the one theme is he stays in contact with our peers. So just because they leave us after that 30-day benchmark, we have people that text us and call us regularly and stay engaged with us and let us know how they're doing, which is really nice. So I would say our most success is our collaboration that we've built with work release clients and getting them set up for success. Of the last 5 that have gone to work release in the last 3 months, all 5 of them, like I said, have left with gainful employment, which is a huge kind of first benchmark when they're just getting out of jail, is that immediate need to get employed so they don't get behind on their fees or, kind of failure to launch almost and then end up back in jail just because they don't have a job. So we're really, really proud of our participants, and we're really proud of their hard work because it's all of them. We're just there kind of in the background to walk alongside them as long as they're willing to. So why the IREX model works, we continue to demonstrate that peer-led cross-sector collaboration is a highly effective and efficient model for supporting individuals through incarceration and reentry. These success stories highlight the strengths of our program, where peer staff actively engage with the pillars of the criminal justice system. We're in the courts, we're in probation, we're working with community corrections, we're in the jail. So we're kind of along the whole system of the justice system. We bridge these systems, we reduce fragmentation, and we increase communication. We're getting emails that come to us from the prosecutor about certain individuals, and then we're sharing that information with the jail, and then it goes back the opposite direction. So we're really kind of that gap that helps with that communication flow. We've had a 54% successful completion rate, and really I think I'm very proud of our sustainability, kind of working on how we can be a contributing partner as well to your guys' financial contribution. We want to make sure we're good stewards and responsible to you all, but also, be effective within our programming. So with that, I'll take any questions you may have, but I appreciate your
Covered it all.
So,
Anything? Yeah,
No,
commissioners?
and we're at 1 year. We launched March 2025, so we hit our 1 year mark.
Sounds like good results. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you.
thank you for what you do. This is amazing.
Thank you.
So what does the current funding run out from our grant, from?
So the contract with the state ended in December of 2026.
Yes.
In January is when the state launched the billing model. So currently now we're, on a contract, you can map out your full funding, you can map out your staffing and all of that. Now with us generating our own revenue and with the challenges of looking at, with that billing cap, is there enough turnover in the jail to keep the revenue flowing? Because if we hit a point where every participant we've served hits their billing cap, then we're no longer generating any revenue. So I'm working on the projections of what that looks like. At the rate we're going, we're on par to have what we need for the 30% match of the 107. I believe you guys supported us so far with 50,000, which we're very appreciative for. We're trying to work on diversifying our funding. So we got a Being for Others grant later in 2025 to help kind of with general support of our whole organization. So we're looking at what we can do to kind of fill some gaps there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a couple minutes.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa.
We have a couple minutes until the next agenda item. Does anyone need a break? We good? Okay.
Sorry.
So I have Philip. So I emailed him yesterday when I was working. I'm working on it today and on calendar, like, that's what I'm excited about. And he said, I said, set up more readers. I don't know what he said, I don't know if he said it this one or next one,
Is that your trip already? When that came out.
Say my own one on the other flight.
Did he really?
My brother was a sponsor and person. Did a great
Nice.
time. That's a long day from 4 a.m. until.
Have you ever been there when they came in? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we were
The
there.
airport, yeah, the airport, that's amazing. It is. Very good. I've been there twice. Yeah, I know, right? Big green one. Yeah, oh, I have all. I have those planes, I just haven't practiced. Yeah.
Mr. Ledford, are you prepared to do that whenever we come back to order?
Yeah, you have time for me, I'll be ready.
I don't know if we will. Want to make sure you were ready.
Austin just said it's COVID here. He said it was. Here's slush. It's coming
That'll get me through the meeting now.
Yes. We'll slow you down.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back into order here. So let's just go ahead and move into the next item on the agenda, the EDP solar battery discussion. Michelle Carlson?
Yeah, actually, my apologies, I am not Michelle Carlton. You can probably tell. So I'm Tom Laturco, I'm Executive Vice President for EDP. And I wanted to, here, I can give you a few copies of the things that we are going to talk about here. Yeah, thanks, Trina.
And Mr. Laturco is one of the individuals I had a meeting with. I mentioned at the last meeting, we had a Teams meeting. And so they thought it'd be a good idea to come in person and kind of give us an update on things.
Yeah, so today is purely informational. It's just give you an update on what we're doing. A little bit about EDP, for a refresher. I know that we've been here
Thank you.
a number of times previously when we were permitting the original project at the Duff substation. But yeah, my name is Tom Laturco. I'm Executive Vice President for EDP. I've been with the company just past 19 years and based in Indianapolis. I have with me Trina Radlish here and Mark Holt. Mark Holt is the construction manager for the project that's being built right now. And so we knew, Trina was down here a few weeks ago and she indicated there were some questions that had come up. I think mostly there's another project that's being built right now questions that had come up around that. But I thought it would be good, based on our conversation, to come down in person, be here as a resource to answer some questions and talk a little bit about what we're doing here in the county. The other thing to mention is just EDP. So EDP is Energias de Portugal. So it's Portuguese energy utility, very much like Duke or AES or those types of companies in Spain, Portugal, and Brazil. But for the rest of the world, including the 1,000 people that we have in North America, we're an independent power producer, and so we generate wind, solar, and storage on that side of the business. But the rest of our business, we operate hydro, coal, gas. We operate the wires in different locations. So we're very much a utility, traditional utility. So I thought I would start, and I won't take the whole half an hour because I want to leave some time for questions if there are any. Duff Solar, so it's 100 megawatts. It's being built right now, just on west of here, of course. It is, so right now, we're in the thick of construction. As of now, we've got the substation up and running. It's 100% energized. That means that the CenterPoint has come in and they've energized the substation so that we can get backfeed power to do all the commissioning that we need to do. And that's basically, it just requires some power to ensure that the collection system is working, that all of the SCADA, which is the site control and data acquisition systems, are working to make sure that we can test the process and ensure that it's all working properly. The pile driving is very close to completion. That has taken a lot longer than we thought because there are some underground conditions that were a little bit worse than we expected. I think for you'd all be aware that this area is a former coal mining area called the Kohlenlager Pit. And when you have some reclaimed areas, most of the area that we have isn't reclaimed, but there has been some change in grade and things like that over the years. And when we got to it, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to pile. So we've had to do a little bit more due diligence on that side. We're nearing the end now. We should be done by, I'd say, probably the end of this month with all the pull tests. Then we can finalize all the racking. So once you have the piles in, then you can construct the racking. And then when that's done, and that right as of today, that's 60% complete. And then module installation, the actual solar panels go on. And I think that's really when it starts to look like a solar park. So the modules are 17% complete as of now. Wanted to mention, because there's a lot of questions about, where's all this stuff coming from? Is this, we always get a question about, is this, stuff that was imported from China, et cetera? No, the modules are made in Ohio. The racking is US made steel. That's all really changed for us in the last 5 years. We've domesticated our supply chain. So we have agreements with a number of solar panel companies as well as racking suppliers, and it's domestic content. That's a real triumph, I think, for our industry. We've been able to by and large domesticate, both on the wind and solar side, but also the storage side as well. So by June, as I said, we've got backfeed power, so we can now energize 3 circuits there. A total of 3 medium voltage circuits on this site, and we'll have those all energized by June, and then it'll be operating commercially by September of 2026. So I will stop there if there are any questions. I actually have extra copy if anybody wants to look at some of the pictures. No pictures, we like pictures. Yeah. Better than listening to you talk, for sure.
So I would say the first time I went through, I was surprised about the shape of the units, and we'll start there. Can you explain why they are shaped in the way they are instead of, is it due to the terrain?
Meaning
They look like they're wavy and the directionally, they're not all matching. Because in some sites, you go and it looks like flat, and this is probably just due to site information. You have a flat piece of property, it's all flat, they're all facing the same direction and it's uniform, and whereas here it's more rolling. Is that just that?
That's exactly it. So we opted in a place where it's more rolling terrain. There are 2 different types of racking systems. One is called fixed tilt, which is what we have here. Essentially, they're facing south, and well, in this case, facing south, and they're always in the same position. They're not moving.
Right.
Versus a single axis tracker, what they have are, they follow the sun during the day. They do not have a big tolerance to terrain. And so your options there are either to do a whole bunch of grading, which we did not want to do here. We wanted to kind of respect where, people's topsoil was and what the shape of their terrain was. And then, so by doing it as fixed tilt, you have a lot more tolerance to the grading. So essentially what we did is, or to the terrain rather. So essentially we just used the fixed tilt to make sure that we didn't have to do a whole lot of bulldozing, and make sure that when we're done, we pull everything out in 30, 35 years, that it essentially looks the same as it did when we started.
And the main concerns from the public usually are safety and on the road conditions and how the roads are getting damaged. And we continue to try to make it known that any damage that is done by any company like yours is managed and taken care of at the end of the project, unless it's an immediate safety issue that it gets taken care of now. Is that accurate?
That's 100% accurate, and it's actually memorialized in a public document. It's the road use agreement, which we've signed with the county. Any of that damage that needs to be handled is done by us. If there's an emergency, we'll take care of it immediately. At the end, if there's damage to the roads, we have to, at our own cost, bring them back up to the condition they were previously or better. And that's the same thing we do. We're the largest renewable operator in Indiana, and so we've done this in 20 different projects around the state, and that's what we do. A lot of the work that we do is around making sure that the roads are in a condition that's as good or better than they were. So I thought it would be good, we at one point had mentioned previously that we have a queue position, which is basically we're in line on the grid to be able to do a second phase of DUF. Now, we haven't come in to have this conversation yet, but we wanted to just make everyone aware that we are developing the project. We've got about 70% of the land leased right now. The reason that it's such a good place to do it is that DUF substation, there's a lot of capacity, or at least there was years ago, to connect. And so this would be the last project that you can connect at the Duff substation without triggering some pretty significant upgrades. And so it would be another 100 megawatt fixed tilt project that we would propose. And it would be somewhere in 2029 COD. I only mention it now because, we're at early stage of developing the project. The interconnection is fairly mature, but we would want to come in and have that conversation when the final land gets completed and go through what it looks like, where are the neighbors, whether there are impacts, all of those types of things. And so I'll just mention that now, and obviously if there are any questions, I can answer them.
So we've had people in the community not happy with, generally the people that are leasing it and they're profiting, they're happy about it.
Mhm.
Some people don't feel impacted, so they're probably indifferent, like a lot of projects. And for the ones that are impacted, they don't like it already. What would be the reason that the county would consider not supporting it, but approving it, permitting it, and giving additional road use agreements and those kind of things? What would be the sell? In other words, if I have to go talk to somebody and say, the reason the county's doing it is, or allowing this is X. What do you think, what would your answer be to that if a person from the public was to ask you?
Sure, absolutely. So, first of all, we always are a believer in property rights. So if a landowner wants to use their property for, growing crops, of course, that's one thing. Or if they want to use it for energy production, in this case, in the Duff area, one of the reasons that we chose that location is that, one, there are very few receptors out there. There are not a whole lot of, there's not a high population density, but it's also an area that has a legacy of energy production, having the Kohlenlager pit there for all those years. And so we think that in that area, and as far as we understood, when I was down here when we did the original permit for Duff, it was myself and our project manager in the room. We had advertised it, and there was no major issue. I think one of the things that I think we're good at is citing a project and trying to make sure that it's in a place where it's as light touch as possible. We think in the Duff area, we've found that place. I know that there are some other projects in the county that are maybe not as free of controversy, but so that's the first thing, is that we think we've cited it well. And the thing that we would do before we went through any of these negotiations, agreements, anything like that, is we show a layout and say, okay, here's where it would be. Here are the receptors. Are there, when I say receptors, houses, churches, anything else? Are there any things that are an issue? Are there any specific viewpoints you want us to take into account? These are the things that we do as developers every day. And one of the things that I think sets us apart a little bit is that we're an owner operator. And so we're not just here for the development process and then we pull out. We're here for the next 35 years. And that's for certain now because Duff 1 is being built. So we will be here as the owner operators for the long term. That's what we do. And then the other thing I'd say is that the tax base increase is very, very significant. Now, we did bring an economic development agreement for Duff 1 in front of the council here, and they decided, okay, we don't want to go with abatement. I actually think that there's a lot of education that can be done around what an abatement actually does. A lot of people say, oh, well, that's just free money. That's money that is given back to the developer. In an abatement, in an economic development agreement, it's usually, I'd say 99% of the time, the case that the amount of money that goes out from our project to the county, whether it's tax base or whether it's economic development payments, is about the same. So from an economic standpoint, it's actually a wash for us. But if there's no economic development agreement, the other issue is that there's no 30% floor on the tax base. So that means if, let's say we have a $200 million project, that 30% floor ensures that 60 million is contributing to the tax base in perpetuity, irrespective of depreciation. So I think there is a lot of value in an economic development agreement. And the other thing that it allows is those economic development payments are at the commissioner's and the county council's election of what they want to do with it. It doesn't have to go into the tax base, and therefore you can only increase it, that total pot a certain amount every year. Having tax base is great because it alleviates the amount of payment or the amount of tax burden that every individual has, and that's what DUF 1 is going to do. But with an economic development agreement, you can do both. You can alleviate with a 30% floor everybody's tax burden, but on the same side, you can have money that can be put forward to projects that are interesting to the community. We've been able to do that in a lot of places. An example is in White County, Indiana. We operate a large number of megawatts there. Indiana Beach, if you're aware of it, it's an amusement park that was about to go under, and they needed a $2 million advance. They used our economic development funds to keep that operating. They found a new owner. So, those are the types of really good stories that you can make happen with these economic development funds. So, I think we'd be really willing to have that conversation, figure out if there's some really good wins so that everybody in the county can benefit. So those are just a few of the reasons.
Okay. No, I appreciate it. And I think it's just good to hear it, even if I've heard it from you or I had it in writing. It's good for you to say it in public so that the public knows where you stand, how it would benefit the public if it would, or if with the way the things you just said against the potential negatives that we would have from it not being attractive or it being increased hassle during construction, whatever the main issues would be. It's important to weigh those things.
And those are things absolutely you need to weigh, right? And construction is always going to be an interruption for people. Some people aren't going to like the aesthetics. That's 100% certain. And I come from in Erie Canal Town in upstate New York. We didn't have any investment since literally the 1880s. And having that kind of tax base increase would have done us a lot of good. Every year in my schools, we were, when I was back in high school, we were waiting to figure out if we were going to have uniforms that next year. We were waiting to figure out if we were going to have a Spanish teacher or we were going to have a reading teacher and things like that. These are the types of things that I am really excited about being able to fund in different locations where we do business.
Okay. You've got a lot more in here, and I guess you're going to probably go through more of this.
Yeah,
but what I wanted to ask before I forgot
go
was
for
if when people are, I saw a company working on this project and they did X, and I'm disappointed about it. What is their best route of getting to somebody with your company that will be able to take action or hear what they're concerned?
Yeah, we have. Well, first of all, every project has an emergency response plan. But what we will do is we will circulate to the commissioners all of the contact information for the laydown yard, for the people that work for EDP, including Mark, that are there full time. So if they have a question, I know last week there was a question about whether on an excavator, that I think it was an excavator, whether the tracks were metal or rubber. And I think in the end it turned out, okay, they were rubber and there wasn't a big issue. But those are the things that we should be able to answer pretty quickly. So,
So whatever those things are, because there's nothing worse than a company coming in saying, we're going to be a good partner. When people complain, we'll get back with them in 24 hours. And then I hear from multiple people that, and I'm not saying this was you in particular, but in the past, when we've called them, I've left a message and I don't hear anything. Or I send emails to that email address. They said they would answer and I get a auto reply that says it's out of order or it doesn't work or something. So, no, again, I'm not saying that this was your company.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just saying multiple, companies over time, and I've heard those complaints. So whatever you give us, hopefully it works and it's functional. If not, I'm sure I'll hear about it from somebody, and then I'll have to tell them what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I can hand out my card as well. So I think I can do that as well. So
just whatever it is, I just want to re-publicize that again so that people feel empowered to have a voice.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so just a couple things. There have been some questions coming from the community about solar and then storage as well. We're not proposing storage here, but I thought, considering we build a lot of it, it would be useful to mention it. But I'll start with solar. A lot of questions about glare. I know there's a project over closer to the airport. So glare, solar panels absorb light. They don't reflect light. If they're reflecting light, then that's actually, they're not doing what they should be doing. So typically, and you can always do a glare study if they're near an airport or any other sensitive receptor. It's really unlikely because that glass is tempered in such a way that it's intended to let light go immediately through to get to the solar cells. What the solar cells do is they're usually polysilicon, and they're an ion, and so there's an extra electron on it. When light agitates it, knocks the electron off, you get enough of those, that's a current, and that's how electricity is produced. And so given that's how they work, they're not intended to glare whatsoever. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. I want to cover that. Sound. There was a question about the impact of whether they're loud or not loud. The solar panels themselves don't make a sound. Our project is fixed tilt, so the racking system, it can have a very tiny sound when it's moving, but by the time you get to the fence, you can't hear it. The loudest portion of a project are the inverters. So this is where when you produce solar energy off of a solar panel, it's DC, it's direct current, and the inverters turn it from direct current to alternating current, which is what our whole system runs on. That's why it has to be done that way. And they create a sound. Those are typically internal to the array. And so the sound, even though it might be 60 or 70 dBA when you're standing next to it, when I say dBA, that's decibels, A-weighted decibels. I'm probably talking right now at about 60 or 70. And so we place those right in the middle of the array. And by the time you get to the edge of the array, the sound is dissipated. And so it's very unusual to hear an inverter by the time you've gotten to that outside of the array. Wanted to talk a little bit about what the panels are made of. A lot of questions. Oh, well, if you're putting these out here, it's contaminating the soil. First thing I always have to do is make sure that people understand that there's no liquid inside these panels. A lot of people assume that there's liquid inside. There's no liquid inside. It's solid state, everything's inside. Typically what's inside is it's glass, and then it's layers of polysilicon. Silicon is the same, silica, you find it on beaches. It's glass, inert material. And so the question is, okay, well, can you prove it? And the answer is yes. And what we have to do with every one of our solar panels, every one of the models, is it's called a TCLIP, Toxic Characterization Leaching Procedure. So essentially what they do is they take each panel in a lab, and I actually have, we have one of these TCLP reports. I can't share it because they're proprietary, but you can look at it. And anybody here can look at it. But basically what they do is they take it in the lab, they crush it up into its constituent portions, and then they put it under really high molar, like really strong hydrochloric acid. What they're trying to do, TCLP was typically done for landfills back in the day to figure out if you could put something in a regular solid waste landfill or it had to go to a hazardous waste landfill. There are seven RCRA chemicals that they look at. Actually read them out here. Silver, arsenic, barium, cadmium, chromium, lead, selenium. So they look at all these things, and after they simulate what it would be like in a landfill to see what leaches out, and then they figure out whether there is any of that in there. And so we did a big deal with a company that comes out of Ohio called First Solar. And I have this TCLP report here, and it shows that none of those are detected when they break it down, subject it to a high molar acid, and then see what comes out. So that's, I think it's a pretty complete process done by an independent lab. I'll share this here, and I'll see if we can get some others as well to share with you guys publicly, because I know people want to know this stuff.
So on that same topic or same vein, I guess, I mentioned there was a high wind event, tornado up north, and it made a mess of everything. Tore up one of these, so the crap is everywhere, for lack of better term.
Absolutely, yeah.
And people are like, well, what do you do with that? No. So that's one thing for the panels, if the panels are safe. But I think the most thing that I've heard the most feedback on are the batteries. And so if there's a burn, what if that stuff gets into the environment? So can you address that?
Sure, I can. The next slide is about storage, so it's probably a good time to do it.
Or if you're gonna hit it later, we can hit it later.
I just have one more thing on solar panels that I know has been a question about whether there's radiation that comes off of the panels and up into the air. I know there were questions about whether it's safe to fly over them. The answer is yes. Radiation is like irradiation from the sun. That's just photons that are flying to the panels. And again, we absorb them. We do not emit the radiation that comes off. And there's there's absolutely no concern whatsoever on that front. I just know that was a specific question that was asked when Trina was down here a few weeks ago. So because we're absorbing the radiation, that's not the concern at all. Okay, BESS. So a lot of questions about BESS, battery energy storage systems. These have evolved a lot since we've been working with them about 8 years now. Essentially what it does is they're really good for modulating the grid, right? You have different needs, right? During the day, power needs spike, the load spikes when people get up, turn their kettles on, go to work, all that stuff, right? And what a battery is really great at is ramping up quickly to meet that demand. And so that's why the grid really demands them. The thing that I would say, I mean, today, the utility in Virginia just announced, I think they want 30 gigawatts of batteries on their grid between now and 2045, just because they have such load requirements. So we're gonna see more batteries going forward. The key thing that I want to mention here is there's been a lot of question about thermal runaway, right? So they get on fire. And I think the most famous situation was one at Moss Landing in California. I think a lot of people have seen it. And I want to make a distinction between how that one was designed and operated, because that was one of the first ones at a commercial scale in the US, versus what is done now, and it's night and day. That was done in an old coal plant, and they put them inside so that they couldn't ventilate. They put them spaced very closely together, and they were a completely different battery chemistry. So they were NMC, which is nickel, manganese, cobalt. It's actually great it's what you see in like a Tesla or one of the electric vehicles. It has a very, very strong ability to hold power and then to quickly dissipate it when it's needed. But it also is more susceptible to thermal runaway. We don't see those commercially available going forward. They've changed the battery chemistry to one that has much lower thermal characteristics. Now you need more of them because they are not as energetic, but they are extremely unlikely to, because of this battery chemistry, they're called LFP, which is lithium iron or lithium ferrous phosphate. It's got a longer life cycle. It is much lower susceptibility for any thermal runaway, and that is the standard under which we build now. The other thing that I mentioned is that at the time Moss Landing was built, it was that we didn't have NFPA 855 standards, National Fire Protection Association. Those standards for spacing, any firewalls that are needed in certain locations, ventilation, whether you need to have water on site, whether certain emergency response plan requirements. Those weren't in place at the time. Now everything is built according to NFPA 855. And so we do that not only here in the US, but my region is also up in Canada, and so we do that in Canada as well. Last thing I'd say is, what are the off gases? If there is a thermal event, typically it's now because of LFP, if there is anything, it can be very isolated, and there's a SCADA system that stops it before it runs away. If there are any off gases, they're There's carbon monoxide, which gets dissipated into the atmosphere, nothing that can be, because it won't be close to people. Carbon dioxide, which is already in the atmosphere, and hydrogen. So those are the typical off gases. Okay, I know I spoke a lot, so I will offer any other questions.
I don't know that I have any questions at the moment myself. Commissioner Hofstadter?
No, I think my main questions were around the battery storage, and I think you kind of covered that.
If it would be useful, we have a consultant that we use called FRA, Fire Risk Alliance, that really digs in to the NFPA 855 code. As I said, we're not proposing any storage here, but if it would be useful, we can send them down to give a presentation or do an executive session with you or a learning day. Happy to send them down.
So on the DUF 1, there's battery or there's no battery?
No
And
battery,
DUF 2, no battery.
no battery.
DUF 1 is approved to have battery if you change your mind, or is it not?
No.
No, it is not. It's not been approved by that from Homeland Security or whoever would make those.
Well, the interconnection agreement is only for solar. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
No, again, I'm trying to keep the two projects straight. I get a little bit of something from both sides on it, so I want to make sure that I'm understanding and that everyone's understanding. So there's no battery here, and you're not going to request battery for the second portion. Okay.
you got it.
Uh,
Yeah, we couldn't, it's, the GIA, the generator interconnection agreement is for solar only. You'd have to go in and start the whole process. I mean, we submitted that in 2020, so it'd be another 7 years to be able to go through that process and add battery. But
we are, go ahead, if you had something
I
to say.
mean, like, I do want to make the point that we build batteries in other parts of Indiana and other parts of the US. I think it's a safe technology, so I just wanted to given our experience, I wanted to just at least address it because I know there have been questions.
So will you, at least, can I ask that you hang out for a little bit?
Yeah.
So it's 9:15, it's 9:45. Usually we have public comments they'll probably be 10:45 today, so I know it's a bit of an ask to have you stick around. But there's gonna be, I'm sure we've got some people in the room that I know that have had concerns about solar. I think anyway, we'll just say they've got some concerns, so maybe if you would hang around, hear their concerns, or maybe if you make yourself available in the hallway, I would appreciate that. So whichever way that works out, I think that would be appreciated by us.
Anytime.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, St. Henry Fun Run, road use.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Chris Langar with the St. Henry Community Club, and the Community Club is wanting to have our 4-mile run walk with our fest this year again. We've had it last year, and we had to skip about 4 or 5 years, but we've been doing it for, I think this will be our 11th one, something like that. So it's like you're all permission to shut down the roads during that event while we're going. So here is a flyer, also the road closure form, and then a map of the route. We would start in the
Lincoln, have you looked at this? Levi or Donnie, have you looked at this?
No, we
St. Henry
never,
Fun Run?
no.
Okay, I'll hand it over to the commissioners, then they can hand it to you, and I'd like to get your thoughts on it. Please continue.
Okay, the route, we would start at the bungalow. Race starts at 8 o'clock, registration starts at 7. Go from the bungalow, we go east to 100 west, go down that county road, go north to 1000 south, or no, west, sorry. Head west on that, come back to 200 west, go north, and then back to the bungalows, the big section, big square down.
Same route you've ran in the past.
Yes, yeah. I've already contacted the sheriff's department. They plan on having somebody there while we're going. Contact the ambulance service as well. They plan on having somebody stationed there in the area in case there's any, issues with that. The St. Henry Fire Department will be there on hand at each corner, directing traffic and everything, trying to keep everybody safe. So that's our plan.
And if you, I wanted to,
June 13th, that's Saturday.
I also wanted to tell the board that, Mr. Lindar's been helping with the comprehensive plan. He came last year and asked for the permission. I'm like, there's a guy I can rope into doing some volunteer work for the county. And we're very grateful for him that he said yes, and he's been showing up to the meetings and helping us out. So that means a lot to me. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Appreciate that.
As far as, this project, I'm okay with it as long as the highway department can, give their feedback.
It's very well ran.
You can still have the record, though.
For completing it?
I would like to ask for road signs for that day and cones if possible. I think we've got 8 of them in the past, either road closed or caution or whatever.
You'll stop at the highway department or
Did you
call.
go back?
Yes,
Get you on the list.
They went the other way, now they're on the opposite.
I'll call.
She spent the whole race in the buggy train.
Right. Really? It's from 8 till when do you want to close the road?
The race generally is done by 9:30, something like that. By the time all the stragglers come through, then we hand out awards and everything like that. So 10 at the latest. 8 to 10.
Says 7:30 to 10.
You able to help them with any,
Signage or.
whatever they need? Okay. Do you have any problems with it?
No.
I'll make a motion that we approve the St. Henry Fun Run Road use as they presented.
Let's say,
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Sir.
Thank you all.
Mr. Lindor was pretty quick, so now we're back on schedule. Let's go with,
I'll try my best.
Becky, you want to come on up for Right Solution budget request?
Glad to. It was on our website, if you need to. Yeah, we were supposed to know your agendas. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
It's hard finding a parking place today. I circled and circled, everybody's for voting and everything going on.
I bet you did.
It was,
It's a busy square.
it is a very busy square today.
People are coming to vote before noon.
Huh? Yeah,
People are
I
coming to
know,
vote.
I know.
I would think that's probably part of it.
First of all, I want to thank you guys for being so supportive of Right Solution. And I want to express to you, we're in a lot of counties, but Du Bois is so progressive. We hear so many good things about Du Bois County. And when we do comparisons with other things, you guys always come up with how it should be. And it's just exciting that we are able to help out with everything that you're doing, because it's, as long as you guys keep growing, then the population grows, but we still have that segment of population that still needs rides. And with the increase in the gas prices, people are not even able to put gas in their car and go back and forth to work. And we just keep getting more and more requests for weird things. I mean, things that we have not had in the past. I mean, of course, it's school-related trips. It's just all kinds of stuff that people don't have the opportunity to have their own vehicle anymore and get to the places they need to go. So we're happy that we're here. We're happy to be a part of your county, and we like watching it grow. And everybody where I live in Washington comes here to eat. So that's all I got to say. you have great places to eat in this county. So I hope everybody that lives here appreciates that, because I don't think we have anybody that comes to Washington to really eat. We have the White Steamer on Main Street, which is greasy hamburgers. And everybody likes that place, but other than that, I don't know. So anyway, thank you for that. And I would ask you to keep supporting us. And like I said, we have a lot of really great drivers here in this county that really gives back to the community also. So,
Is the Mason place still open?
the what?
The what?
Mason's Root Beer.
Mason's Root Beer place?
Yeah, it's still open. They're never open on Sunday though.
Oh, they're not.
They don't open on Sunday. He says he needs a day off, but I said, why Sunday? That's when everybody's
That's when
cruising.
everybody's out cruising.
I don't understand it, but,
I was gonna say, that's the place that stands out in my mind.
well,
In
yeah,
their budget.
yeah, they're Coney's, yeah.
So
I didn't
anyway,
know that.
your request is for 17,000 for 2027. What was the amount this year?
15. It has been 15 for the last couple of years. But I mean, I actually just up that because we're trying to figure out how to carpool more and try to get people to adjust their schedules just a little bit sometimes, because they want like a real taxi, like they're the only person. But we
Sure.
have to tell them that with what we're doing, they have to ride with somebody else. I don't want to ride with anybody else. He said, but do that. That's not the way it works,
It's not an option.
If we can go to point A, pick up another one, point B, if
Sure.
we're going to the same vicinity, that's what we have to do, and
Yes.
especially now. So we're trying to let people know that. I think most people will understand. But I mean, so that's what we're gearing for right now because of the fuel prices and everything.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, being efficient will help.
yeah, we're trying to be, that's for sure.
So, we've got your request. Anybody have any comments or questions? So, I guess we're not putting our budget together today, but I don't
Yeah.
think it seems like an unreasonable request. And we'll just,
Well,
I think I'd be fine to put it in there, but
okay,
we'll
thank you.
look at that a little further whenever we get closer. But
Okay.
we do have your request, so I think that
I
that's
appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you
great
so
day.
much.
Bye.
Okay, we are back ahead of schedule again. So I did want to mention to the board that we have news on the DuBois County Cares. We had there's a grant agreement that came in for DMHA to provide Indiana opioid settlement funds, a dollar for dollar match to DuBois County's local opioid settlement funds to support the DuBois County Coalition for Adolescent Resilience and Empowerment Strategies, that's CARES. And so, if you remember, last year we agreed to match them. The match amount will be no more than $100,000 out of our funds and $100,000 from the Indiana opioid settlement funds for a total of $200,000. For the auditor's purposes, I was trying to, they gave us a budget. 1 year it's 47, next year it's 53, something like that. You asked if we should, or I think we had the discussion if they should get it all at one time or mix. And so I did ask Megan, who's the chair, if which way their understanding of it was. Because I thought, kind of like we do with other people, give them half of it, let them come in and explain where they are, how things are going, how they're using our funds, and then give them the other half the second part of the year. But so I did reach out to them, and I haven't heard back yet.
From what we read in the grant, it has to be provided, it has to be available upfront. So I don't know if we have to do our grant, our match first and then they spend the grant, because sometimes that's how grants are written.
The match goes first, or our portion
Our
goes
portion
first.
is first and then they prove that they've received it and then they get their money. So we're still trying to figure that out too. So Megan does have an answer. Let us know.
Yes, I haven't heard it yet, but whenever I do, I'll let her know.
Okay.
So, but anyway, the good news is that they did get that. They are proceeding. We're just trying to figure out how to bring the money together. And if, I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget. So they're using, DuBois County Cares will utilize BOTVIN, BOTVIN, Life Skills, and Prime for Life evidence-based substance use and misuse prevention curriculum for their program. This is gonna be for DuBois County juveniles. And if they have juveniles on probation, they would be a part of this. Also, this will be for participants in 6th through 8th grade in the following schools: Cedar Crest Intermediate, Northeast DuBois Intermediate, Forest Park Junior High School, Jasper Middle, and Southridge School. So just to me, you can get time from the schools to get in front of them and give a little bit of this curriculum that's evidence-based. I think it's a good thing. It's like they always say, prevention's worth more than incarceration later or health issues later if you can get in there. I know many years ago, DARE was a thing that was in the schools, and I looked into that. At one time, it wasn't evidence-based, and long story short, it had ups and downs, and now I think it's an improved program as well. But being able to get in front of the kids, and kids remember that stuff, and more information is probably good.
Middle school's good age for that too.
Sure. So that's going on, so that's a good thing. Okay, let's, if I could have that document back from, okay. So this is a document that came to us. I'll just kind of go over it. It's the Mid-States Corridor RDA agreement to appoint the board of the Development Authority. There is a agreement here that was provided to the commissioners as, because we would be the ones that would appoint the board of directors. So the current board of directors term was expired, and this agreement would reappoint the board of directors to the end of the initial term, which I know this has been the council dealing with the RDA recently, and they did vote at their last meeting to not continue in the RDA, I guess. So I guess it would be a withdrawal. But so is your understanding is, I know that the RDA itself has talked about that they internally have voted to keep the RDA going until the end of 2027. Did the county council say a time period shorter than that, or did the county council agree to go this 12 months is what the county council said?
12 months from the passage of the ordinance, which was at the April meeting.
So our county council said we are withdrawing in 12 months. What Denton's is saying, or not Denton's, I'm sorry, Mr. Kaiser and those guys, what they're saying is they are gonna go past that, but I guess that doesn't move on without us.
Yeah, they're creating an initial term, I think that goes until the end of 2027.
So they have, I just wanted to make it clear or clarify it a little bit, just because I wasn't even sure. I watch all the meetings, I try to pay attention, so, because it said at one time in their ordinance was 12 to 18 months, I thought it said, so if they did settle on the 12, then the county is out a year from now. But anyway, they still have a board of directors, and here's how the language of this reads. It says agreement to appoint the board of the Development Authority. So the fiscal bodies of DuBois and Spencer counties have each established an ordinance for the Mid-States Corridor Regional Development Authority pursuant to 36-7.6. The cities of Jasper and Huntingburg have also each adopted an ordinance to establish the Development Authority pursuant to the Act, and whereas the Development Authority shall be governed by 5 individuals, the board, who meet the criteria defined under the Act, and whereas the executives of the cities and counties, collectively the members, must appoint the board and develop an authority by written agreement. Now, therefore, as the executives of the members of the Development Authority, we agree to appoint the following individuals to the Board of Development Authority, all of whom meet the criteria defined, and it's the same board that they have now. Mark Schrader, Scott Blasey, David Drake, Sue Elsperman, and Ken Mulder Jr. This agreement to appoint the board may be executed in counterparts. And then it has a place for us to sign. So I received this, I think, last week. It's dated April 30th, so I had it mailed to my house. How does the board feel about this? Do we want to sign this and have it move forward, or do we have a reason not to?
I don't have a reason not to.
I mean, our reason not to would be if we said, I don't want X, Y, or Z on the board anymore.
No, I'm fine with who's currently appointed.
I'm fine with it.
So, Mr. Schneider, you have any reason we would or wouldn't do this?
So the council set forth their involvement in the RDA and the limit of it, and this is the executive body's decision.
So am I correct that unless we said we didn't want some of these people, or we didn't agree with the amount of people, who these in particular people are, other than that, that's not our,
In my review of it, it's historically, it's been a joint board that's been approved. It's not one entity appointing a single individual, but the approval of the board as a whole.
I agree, but I mean, if we wanted to gum it up, we would say, yeah, we don't like these people, or one of these people or something.
That is your prerogative.
Sure, okay, I just wanted to make sure I knew our options here. So, again, we've discussed here on this board what our thoughts were on continuing with it at all, or what we thought of it, but I guess since we are continuing, at least for this time frame, I wouldn't take exception to the list.
Yeah, but I think we appointed one member, am I correct? But we approved all members.
We gave a member
Okay,
for the whole to consider. Yes.
right,
And then we voted as a group to do the whole slate.
gotcha.
So go ahead and do it now, or do you want to hold it off?
I think it's fine to go ahead.
Okay, so we have a agreement here to appoint the board to the Development Authority. I've read it, so somebody want to make a motion to approve? Or I guess I'd make a motion that we approve the agreement to the board.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Sure.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. One signature on the back. Levi, you about ready to, would you mind doing that?
Ready.
You can come on up. So earlier in the meeting, we took bids, they were taken under advisement, reviewed by engineer, and if the public wanted to see it, they were made available to the public, and now you have a suggestion for who we would approve.
Yes. All low bidders were responsive and responsible, meaning they have all the required paperwork in their bid package. Would you like for me to go through each one, or do you want me to?
How about just for each project, you say Project 04 and the name of the company that,
Okay.
that was the low bidder. And if someone wants to know exactly what the bids were, they can rewind the video and check it out themselves.
Okay. For project 2026-02, low bidder was CalCar in the amount of $93,495.05. For project 2026-03, the low bidder was CNR Construction in the amount of $53,861. For project 2026-04, the low bidder was CalCar in the amount of $307,000. Sorry, correction, $307,992.60. For project 2026-05, the low bidder was CalCar in the amount of $235,582.05. For project 2026-06, the low bidder was Rudolph in the amount of $180,575.40. And for project 2026-07, the low bidder was CNR Construction in the amount of $171,578. As I indicated, all low bidders are responsive and responsible, so I will recommend award of those low bidders for all 6 of those projects.
I'll move that we award to the low bidders have been mentioned to us here.
A second.
Any other discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another question for the highway folks. Has there been any further discussion with the Northview Estates folks in Ireland? I know we talked the last meeting about if they were to put money in, and I thought there was gonna be an ongoing conversation.
He said he will get back with me in 3 weeks and have another discussion. And so I guess he'll let me know if they wanna put in or whatever they wanna do.
That sounds fine to me. Thank you. So let's go ahead and see Ethan here for the Pine Hill subdivision, Triple D acre subdivision. You're not presenting that, are you? There. So we have two subdivisions that the plats were sent to us, the right-of-way, the maps, everything was sent to us. Has the board had a chance to look at those?
Really?
So what they are is each of them are, and Levi probably has reviewed them as well, as part of the subdivision team. But these are single lot subdivisions, and basically they're not in our jurisdiction, unless, I mean, they're on our roads, but they're within the city's jurisdictional limits. So I think what our job would be to approve the plats, and accept the dedicated right-of-way and public utility drainage easements there within. So I don't know that there's not a whole lot we would do with it. I think it would be a pretty simple approval, unless the board feels differently. All we're doing is accepting right-of-ways and approving the plat.
Right.
But really, the approving party for the plat would be the city, so.
I just
You feel the
received
same way?
the plat a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
Meant to send it to me before, realized he didn't, so I haven't had a chance to review it.
Okay,
Other than, I did a quick 5-minute review on it. I checked the right of way, making sure 30 feet from center line is our minimum requirement. I made sure the road frontage of the right of way is met. I didn't see anything at first glance, but again, I haven't been able to get a thorough review on it.
so would you prefer to have a little more time on it?
It depends on where your comfort level is. If you'd like for me to review it further, I can. It could be a quick and simple one, but again, I just haven't had time to review it, so I can't really give much on it.
See any issues, but
If you look at it for the next couple more minutes, and you're fine with it, I've looked at it, I don't see any problems with it, and I would be okay to move forward. Again, I trust the work of the person performing the work. I trust my review of it. Commissioner Stefan, did you have an issue with it?
No, I don't have an issue with it at all.
And again, we're not,
I have looked at it prior to today and then this morning again, so yeah.
okay, so if Mr. Dirkle shows up, then we will consider that.
It's Hope.
Oh, Hope, I'm sorry. Yes, it says Dirkle, but I knew that. That's okay. Okay, well, we have a little bit of extra time here, 15 minutes until the next item's up. Mr. Schneider, do you have anything for the board today?
I do not today.
Auditor? Not even any old computers or anything?
Nothing today, thank God.
the county's out of jail.
Tails, no nothing?
We're not out of junk, we don't say everything.
Okay, nothing to declare today.
That being said, those two items that were up there, I said I was gonna check out those computers. I tried every plug I could find, mine, my son's at home, the ones in the other office, and I don't have plugins for them, so I couldn't even see if they fired up, so I'm fine. I'm just fine to declare them surplus and we can get rid of them. So that'll be my motion, that we take those two units there that are from CASA and declare those items surplus.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
we will be replacing the battery that was hit by lightning downstairs here.
Okay, and what are those called?
UPC.
So it's a couple
It's just
$1,000.
one surge, thank God, and saved the servers are fine, but the battery's not. Last Monday, I guess it was. Just last Monday.
So,
Did its job.
True.
did you guys have anything else? Just look to the board, do any of you, the members have
I
anything?
have one thing,
Okay.
the DAR,
Yes.
sent me an email. They are at the point where they can't proceed until they get a letter of approval from the commissioners. And they also shared with me 4 placard designs, which I emailed to you guys this morning. So if we could review those placards and maybe decide which one we want, and then if you make permission to write a letter to formally approve.
I'm good with image 0. That was the first, that's what they're called, that's how they have a label. It's the one with, it just says, it has the same verbiage, and then the patriotic citizens of DuBois County and chapter members of the Daughters of the American Revolution. That's what they put on, was presented by them. And the board has already approved placement, so this is the only final part that we really need to agree upon. So that would be the one, that'd be the one I would do. That's the first one.
That was the first one that came up for me.
That's the one I would go with, unless you two feel strong. I don't feel strongly one way or another, but that's the best of the 4, in my opinion.
Okay. Very nice. And the verbiage down at the very, very bottom of it?
At the very bottom, it says Daughters of the American Revolution in honor of the 250th anniversary of the United States, and then it has the America's 250 logo.
Well, and it'll say the patriotic citizens of DuBois County and the chapter members of the Daughters of, yeah. Okay,
Do you like that one? Are you okay with that one?
I'm okay with that one.
I'm
So,
okay with it.
So,
image number 0.
yes, so just for the record, we'll put it in the, I don't know, we need to vote on it, but just so it's in the record, that's what we support. Commissioner Hofstadter will send a letter of support to them, to meet whatever their need was.
Okay.
Anything else?
Do we need a motion for that, or we?
I don't think so. By consensus.
Can you send that email so I can
Oh, sure.
verify it?
Yep.
And I can put Carrie this one.
Here's, we'll find the original.
So then are you gonna put her a letter then? You said-
Sorry, he said you will. Commissioner Stefanago, did you have anything?
No, I don't, sir.
Okay. Okay, so here's something I want to bring up. I'll just say that we've had a number of people, a couple of people that have sent us concerns about the solar project, especially in the AES project, the one between Holland and the airport area, just for geography. There's been a lot of trucks, there's been machinery, there's been a lot going on out there. So again, I try to say I thank the folks whenever they send them, but I do appreciate when we get those, because that gives Levi plenty to run around, look at and measure. And for me to make emails or phone calls to people, because as I said at the beginning of the meeting, this stuff is important, and these issues, again, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. If there's some things that are minor issues, more traffic, I expected that, but when things are unsafe, that's not going to be acceptable. One of the things that this board discussed back in, and this was brought to me by someone recently, and I'm glad they did, is that we are to put together a team to review solar and zoning issues, right? We said we would bring people from the community in. Our answer was, we're going to do the comprehensive plan, see where that how that falls out. We mentioned that Mr. Lindar is on, there's a number of people on the board or on that comprehensive plan. And it's, to me, it feels like I want everything done immediately, and this is a year process, and I'm not very patient. But we are still discussing these things. We're reaching out to the most recent thing is we're talking to farmers in the area because we didn't feel like we had an in-depth enough idea of what their thoughts were on this project or on the comprehensive plan and to any potential zoning or land use issues that we would have. But anyway, so I think what we had said was we're gonna wait for that comprehensive plan to get done, then we would bring this team together and move forward from that point. So I don't want that to ever come off of our radar, and I don't want us to be crunched for time, because even though it is only the beginning of May, December will be here before we know it. And I recognize that with a lot of projects we have that you're like, oh, we've got all this time, and then that time is gone, and you're scrambling the last 3 weeks to get something done. So I don't want us to do that. My concern with that and with some of the other issues is we need the capacity to do this stuff. So it's just something we need to keep in mind. I believe that if we're gonna have to deal with, finding, either us finding a way to split our time to get all of these options, all of these things done, or get additional help somehow to make sure we give, in this case, this zoning team, land use issue team, we need to, I'm not trying to ramble on here, but I'm just trying to say, we've got a lot of projects going on between the sewer district, the VSO, the JRAC, staff oversight. We've got a lot of things going on, and it feels that we don't have the capacity to do everything that we need to do sometimes. So I just think that we need to be thoughtful about that and how we are going to manage the rest of the year with all these important projects. Mid-States Corridor, again, is another one that's important, and there's going to be big things moving potentially with but we'll have to make considerations for county roads if that thing ends up going through or not. It's been quiet on that front. I know, as far as I know, I haven't gotten emails from anyone from Lockmuir or from anybody on the Mid-States Corridor. The RDA, that part has been been vocal a little bit, but I haven't heard a lot from the state or from Lockmuir recently. So I don't know. Maybe somebody knows more than me. But it's been eerily quiet. So we'll just see how that goes. I think I've rambled on enough on that. But let's bring up Ethan Hope for the Pine Hill subdivision and Triple D acre subdivision. Hi.
Morning, everyone. Morning. I got some exhibits for you guys. I had those out real quick. There are two subdivisions that I'm going to be discussing about today, both of which are within the 2 mile jurisdiction of the city of Jasper. So this is mostly for acceptance of right-of-way for my discussion with them.
I did give everybody my idea of what a rundown was before you got here, so I did explain some of that.
Like Chad said, I'm Ethan Hope. I'm with Trimark Surveying. We've got two subdivisions here. We'll start with Pine Hills. So here on behalf of Glenn and Linda, what they're wanting to do is a one-lot residential subdivision to create a lot around their existing residential house, separating it from the rest of the acreage that they have. They're at the end of the Gun Club Road, just west of the Gun Club itself. With what they're wanting to do, it actually falls within a 2 mile jurisdiction of the city of Jasper. So I've already gone through that process with the city. We've got approval from the plat committee there in order to do the subdivision itself. Right now, we're seeking approval for the dedication of right-of-way along Gun Club Road itself. So if you look at the plat, the parcel itself is triangular shaped going around the house. There's actually an existing private drive that comes up around the east side of that parcel, serving the remainder of the acreage. So they're basically following that driveway. That way, that remainder maintains ownership of that driveway, so that way they can do whatever they need to in the future with that property. So the only dedication of right-of-way that we're looking at doing is don't know, a 30 to 60 foot wide little triangular portion there along Gun Club Road itself, dedicating 30 feet of right of way along a half right of way like we normally do along a county road for a subdivision.
So let's do these one at a time. Have you had a chance to look at that one, Mr. Levin?
Yeah, one question I had. For the public utility and drainage easements, is that all through the city of Jasper?
It's all through the city.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, email indicated acceptance of right of way in the PUD, so I want to make sure, because
Yeah, I think this would only be for the dedication of right of way because it is a county road.
okay, I just want to clarify, because their utility easement requirements are going to differ from ours, so.
Correct. So the verbiage that we have within the plat is for the city of Jasper, not for the county.
Understood, thanks.
Yeah, so I
Mr.
missed.
Mayor, is there anything, do we have to approve the plat itself or just accept the dedication?
The dedication.
Okay.
Are there signatures for us?
Yes, there is. And I have all the plats here.
If it's okay with the board, we'll do them one at a time. For the first one with the Pine Hill subdivision, I'll move that we accept the dedicated right of way.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, move on to the next one.
Wonderful. Next one is on behalf of David Porter. His property is located along County Road 620 West. Some people call it the public access road. It comes down about, I don't know, 3/4 of a mile northwest of the Toba Lake Public Access there with the intersection with Division Road. Once again, he resides within the 2-mile jurisdiction of the city of Jasper. He's wanted to do a 1-lot residential subdivision in order to create a tract that's gonna be a residential dwelling for one of his granddaughters. He's in the process, the deed should be done here anytime soon. He's gonna purchase a tiny portion from his neighbor to the south in order to get the acreage requirements set forth by the city of Jasper. Once again, we've gone through the plat committee hearing. The city of Jasper has approved this subdivision as it's laid out now. So we're just looking for the approval of the dedication of the right of way along the west side of this county road. The quarter section line, the property line is on the west edge of the road, so we dedicated right of way 30 feet from the center line itself to ensure that there would be a 60-foot wide swath in the future centered on the county road. So that would be about 4/10 of an acre. Up to approximately 400 feet of right of way dedicated.
I agree with it, it's good.
I'll make a motion that we approve the triple D acre subdivision acceptance of the dedicated right of way.
Second.
Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Mr. Hope, just that easy.
All right, perfect, thank you. I do have,
Need us to sign anything?
yeah, there's quite a few to sign. There's like 5 Mylar and 4 paper copies that we have to sign. I can leave those here so you guys can sign them at the end of the meeting. I can just take them up at the auditor's office.
Let's sign them now.
You want to sign them now?
Yeah, I want to get over it, please. You still don't have to hang out if you have to go, but I just would rather do it.
No.
I'm gonna put a majority of these all the time. That's what I do it. Staples.
You're Mr. Brady?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as soon as we're done giving our autograph, you're up. Thank you.
Just clean up some of this land.
Getting a little heavy.
And if you'll need something, it won't be there.
Sandy, you get this.
Right.
Get it in.
So hopefully I don't have to dig that deep.
I was happy with this one.
And I don't mind getting them through, we got like a driving in here.
So
I filled them in before, then I see the public documents. I didn't-
I'll look it up here.
Never mind, I'm in the right direction. That's where I was. Keep going.
That's okay. The ones over by Stewart Road area. I had to do a measurement, I didn't know, I would assume it was out of the jurisdiction, but
We put them on their website and it shows that if you want to click on it, it shows exactly where it is.
GIS, it'll tell us which
The layer one.
open, and I just measured, it was 1.4 miles or something.
It's not exactly service.
Oh, here's the last year. Let's start line.
First, the Cape Quarters call.
You were in the same boat as me?
Yeah.
Seems like it's way out there.
Yeah, some of them were barely squeaking in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we changed to Jasper so that we can see it from their side.
And we have this one.
No. I don't.
So you just fill up the layers now?
No, there's a. It's on the, it's like a page.
I guess some different and kind of on this one.
Yeah, all they have to do is just give us Jasper. We link it to the Jasper page where Josh has it.
Okay.
So when we refer to put theirs on, we can link it to them, because it's not our jurisdiction.
So it's not a true overlay of the map?
No, but
No, it's a crap. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Signature to signature. I'll sort through it later. Just a lot of papers.
How
Gotta
are
skip
you,
one. Now you gotta figure out which one it is.
Won't surprise me if
It's
we miss
almost
it.
like that, it makes it a little bit easier.
I think we had a pretty good process going there.
Yeah, thanks you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
oh, I gotta sign off.
Yeah.
Everybody still doing okay?
I'm good.
All right, let's keep rolling. We have, Mr. Michael Brady. Come on up, sir.
Thank you, sir. I want to express my gratitude for you guys taking a few minutes to talk to me. I'm here on behalf of the American Legion Riders, Post 147 here in Jasper. On the 25th of April, on or about 6 o'clock in the evening, we had just wrapped up our regular meeting of the American Legion Riders, and a lot of our members were going home. One of our members, Max Eckelstein, was involved in an accident at 231 in front of a Wings and Things, I think it's called.
Wings and Rings?
That's it, yeah. As he was rounding the corner, his trike, he lost control due to some gravel and some issues, and he laid it over and was in an accident. We got a phone call because one of our other riders was going by and saw it, she stopped. And so a bunch of us, I'm gonna say 8, we came down to see what was going on, to check on our member. And when we arrived, there was an ambulance, 1 deputy sheriff, and 4 Jasper PD on the scene. There was no caution tape, there was no traffic control, nothing. The officers were basically standing there having a conversation. When we got there to check on our member, we were not allowed to talk to him. We were not allowed to see him. We were not allowed to ask a question of how he was doing. And in fact, the deputy, and that's the reason I'm here, the deputy sheriff left-handed threatened me personally with arrest for impeding an investigation. And to be real honest with you, sir, folks, there was no investigation going on here. There was no police tape, there was no measurements, there was no cameras taking photographs or anything like that. My impression was from the deputy and the one EPD officer or JPD officer was just some total arrogance, to be honest with you. And I know the police department and the sheriff's department has investigating abilities, and I've called the chief deputy 3 times in the last week without a return phone call. And by the way, Max is fine. He's okay. He's got some road rash and all that, but how our members were treated at the scene of the accident was uncalled for and unnecessary. Nobody was out of line. Nobody was being rude or pushy or anything like that. We were there to check on our friend, and to be treated in that way by law enforcement is, we're a very patriotic organization. We support the community. We donate tons of money to the police departments. And we felt very disrespected, and I personally, the officer saying, we'd hate to have to take you to jail for impeding an investigation, his exact words, was way out of line in my opinion, and uncalled for, because like I said, nobody was being in the way or anything like that. We were just trying to find out the status of our friend. And the police departments, both the sheriff and the JPD, need to, they should be concerned with their public image too, especially with everything that's going on with the sheriff in recent months. I can tell you that the probability of either of those departments requesting donations from our American Legion Riders in the near future probably will go unanswered. But I'd like somebody to take it under their wing and advise the officers or some retraining or something along that lines. I was a deputy sheriff in Marion County myself in the early 80s. So I know how officers are supposed to conduct themselves. And this was not that. So I appreciate your time, and I'd love to hear what suggestions you might have.
Well, I guess my first thing is I never like it when you reach out to someone or to the department and if you haven't heard back, I think that that's unacceptable. I don't expect people to necessarily have to agree with you, but communication is important. And even when people, there may be a difference of opinion. So what I would hate to do is say, oh, you're right, and you were treated terribly, and then have the sheriff call and say, well, here's our point of view on it, right? So I don't want to say that what I can promise you is that I'll make contact with these folks as well and say, well, they can watch. I'm sure somebody's watching now to see what your complaint was, and I'll look into it further. That's the most I can do is to say that this is what the complaint was, and that reputation is important, and to treat everyone with respect and courtesy.
I would encourage you strongly to review the body camera footage of the deputy in question.
And for your record, your information too, that is available to the public. I mean, there's a public out.
Now, if I can't get a return phone call.
If you can't get a return call, that's correct.
That's the part that made me call Sam.
Did you call the chief deputy cell phone or on his office number or?
Through the office switchboard.
And you said, hey, can you hook me up with this phone number?
I left my name and phone number and the reason I was calling and asked him to return my call.
Okay.
Twice. I called a third time and didn't leave a message because I was frustrated, to be honest, but I did call and leave a message twice,
Okay.
over the week's time.
Okay.
But, I mean, a review of the body camera footage will show you what happened. And the words he used and everything else, but like I said, they were loading Max in the ambulance and they wouldn't even let us talk to the paramedic to see how he was doing or nothing. And to imply they were conducting an investigation, again, no cameras, no tape measures, no, nothing. They were just standing around with their hands in their bulletproof vest, basically BSing. And that was frustrating for us as a group because we were genuinely concerned about our member. And I'm sure you folks all know about the Jasper Legion and what they've done for the community and everything else. And for us to be treated in that fashion it was unnecessary for anybody, really. Honestly, it was very rude.
And I'll tell you, I do appreciate what the Legion Riders do for, at various events in the community. And when they show up in force, it adds a little something to a lot of events, so I appreciate that. And if you wouldn't mind, would you mind giving me your phone number? I'll just I don't want to have you do it publicly, but if you'll give it to me, then I can pass it on to them. I'll make sure somebody gets back with us.
Michael, can you remind me the date of this again?
April 25th,
Yes,
Thanks, sir.
thank you.
on or about 6 p.m.
Okay.
I didn't look at my watch at that time, honestly,
Okay.
but. And it's not the Legion Riders. I was talking about the entire American Legion organization. The Riders are a program in the American Legion. And yeah, the Post does a great deal for the community and the surrounding areas and specifically for veterans. And that's what we all are. And we don't deserve to be talked to like that, honestly. That's just my opinion, but you may not share it, but I hope you do. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that.
To be fair, that's why I don't want to weigh in on it because I don't know their point of view on it. And they do have a difficult job, but there is definitely a level of respect that is.
A one vehicle accident requiring 5 police officers, a fire truck and an ambulance at a busy intersection.
Mhm.
Sorry, boss, that don't work.
Thank you, Mr. Brady.
Appreciate your time,
All right,
folks.
thank you so
Did anybody
much.
else have anything for him? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, I don't know that I have any other business here. Okay, yeah, I do have one thing. I requested from AES, and I finally did get it, a copy of, we always hear about the NFPA 855 standards for the installation of these things. I did get a copy, a hard copy here. You can find pieces of it online, but otherwise, if you get it online, you gotta pay a big chunk of money, or if you wanna buy one, you have to pay $60, $80, something. So I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I plan to. I generally read everything people send me, but I don't know that I'll read everything in here. This looks above me a little bit. I am going to review it. I'll make it available to anyone in the public that wants to review it, because it's, if they continue to, if the AES says, for example, they're going by these standards, and I know EDP said they do as well, then if somebody wants to know what do those standards mean.
Is that by chance available at our library?
I wouldn't know.
Okay. That'd be nice if it was.
Yeah, that would be better than me.
That way anyone could just go check it out.
But I just wanted to tell people that I have it. It's going to be available for public view if they want, and I'm going to try to read it myself. So that's that. Yeah, I guess we've got an opportunity for public comments if someone has some public comments. Mr. Harris?
Sure do.
Jared Harris, 500 West. Okay, I didn't write anything up. I just come up with some things sitting here. First of all, that pull in north of the driveway, we're still using it. I don't know, can it be blocked off? Box truck used it yesterday.
I gave an update earlier in the meeting. on that there. I don't know if you're here for it or not, but I did speak with their 8-day AES construction manager, and he told me that no one is allowed to be using that anymore. I said, well, you say that, but there does appear to be tracks in there.
Yesterday they use it.
I can't assume that it was them. It could have been farmers, someone else.
It was the people
I asked if
seeding
they could
solar
barricade that, so they're gonna put some barricades up there to
Perfect.
deter people from using it. I
Perfect.
did tell them
Thank
it's
you.
not acceptable to use it.
Thank you.
Well,
On the board that you're putting together for all this stuff, you mentioned farmers. You may want to definitely consider some that are close to these projects, because I know some that are very unhappy. So if you get somebody that doesn't live near one of these, you're not gonna get the same input as what you're gonna get by somebody who has to actually deal with one.
Sure.
Okay. Most of what I have for the rest of this is what the gentleman who came here to represent the solar invest. First of all, he's speaking for a different company. That's bullshit. He should not be allowed to do that. I mean, can I tell him all my concerns for the AES project? He's not their spokesperson. So how can he sit there and he's pushing, saying how great this best system is and everything and safe and everything, and they're not even doing one on the Duff project. So he's trying to get influence on the Crossvine, which is bullcrap. And for you to say that it's safe, the burn coming off of it, you know that's crap.
I take complete exception to what you're telling me, or what you're saying. I came to offer some general information.
To sway people to accept the Crossvine, because they're doing the best, and
I
we're
have
concerned with the
no
best.
affiliation with that.
Mr. Harris, if you want to just address the board, you're welcome to. Otherwise.
Okay, well, you're trying to sway us, which is wrong. For him to say that the stuff coming off the batteries when they burn is merely carbon monoxide or whatever, dioxide, whatever, that's crap. Why don't we throw them in our fire rings around a campfire then? Because if I burnt this podium here, it put off more stuff than what he's saying is coming off of them. That's crap. Do your own research, because don't believe my stuff, don't believe his stuff, because that's all you're going to be going off of the way it seems. And they're going to tell you, sugarcoat it. You need to do your own research and look this crap up, because it's true. Maybe I should go ask the Ford, which I just saw this morning. In 2019, the 4 firefighters, they got traumatic brain injuries and broke a lot of bones and punctured lungs when the battery that they were trying to fight blew up. This stuff happens. It's out there everywhere. I mean, to be blind to it because you want some money, it's ridiculous. And it's pretty, I'm very upset about having him speak about the batteries when their project has no batteries. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Good morning, everybody. John Kaltenberger, Town of Holland.
Good morning.
Lee, I appreciate you taking your due diligence and looking at the speed limits there on Old 64. If you guys, which I'm assuming you guys don't travel that road, you will know that people speed there 35 miles an hour. We better have some sheriffs out there, because I guarantee they're going to see 55 plus. I was passed by an individual not too long ago that was probably doing 85. So, and that's, in my book, unacceptable and unsafe. And that was in the area before they had the construction there. Okay. So I would also respectfully request that the council look into maybe not allowing AES to have heavy equipment on the roads during the school bus times. Because you've all seen those videos of skid steer in the middle of the road. Some of the heavier, bigger trucks that are trying to turn on Holland Northeast have to go into the other lane and things like that. It's just kind of a common sense approach to kids' safety. So if it's possible, maybe we could talk to them and say, hey, could you guys not start moving your equipment till after 8 o'clock? Don't say that they can't work. Don't want to shut them down. They have project times that they need to get everything up and running, but let's just look at a common sense approach to school safety. Donnie, I appreciate what you're doing for the recycle center. Again, I still offer our help in any possible way if we need to, whatever we need to do. I understand what you're going through. So with that individual, we've had dealings with them too. So
Would you, from your perspective, would you prefer the site to stay at the same location or to move to the other location?
I would say stay right there. There's a lot of different things like Donnie says, the school uses it for buses, parking, and school teachers. Another thing which is great is the elementary school walks across the street for recycling purposes. That shows responsibility to the kids about taking care of the environment. And I think that's awesome. So if we could keep it there, yeah, I would totally support that. I mean, we would rather it be, it's just gonna be a lot easier for you guys. But like I said, we've made an offer to go out to the lagoons and for less cost. Yeah, I would prefer to stay there. It's just easier for people. Now they have to go out to the lagoons, which is outside the city limits, versus just going up by the school. Another thing too, Levi's, the mud and rocks on those roads out there. I know they were putting in a driveway where the best was going in. They were using some of those larger rocks. I'm not sure what the number is, but they were like this. And those were on 64 and also on Holland Road East. And they were just in the middle of the road. So, I mean, that's a pretty big hazard. So I think those are the things I wanted to talk about that. Because you already talked about zoning, so that took check mark on that. Oh, lastly.
Time has expired, but I'll give you another couple seconds because I interrupted you.
Oh, thank you. So as you guys know, I'm a ham radio operator and a licensed GMRS operator as well. That's General Mobile Radio Service. It's another frequency, kind of like FRS, Family Radio Service. Coming back yesterday with two of my younger grandkids, and we were coming back from Huntingburg. So of course I was going back down through the old Holland Road, or the old State Road 64, had my radio on, normal volume, and I hear communications on a GMRS channel 14. And the language they were using, I couldn't turn my radio down fast enough. And these guys were workers out there for AES, the planners. And FCC states that you cannot use profanity. You cannot do any type of, you just can't use profanity. I can give you the regulations. I'd be more than happy to. And I'm contemplating calling the FCC about this right now, because the words that they were using in the presence of my 8 and 10-year-old grandkids made me mad. And I was about ready to grab my mic because I am a licensed GMRS operator and give them my 2 cents. But I thought, you know what? We'll just go ahead and just show Papal's got a little bit better common sense than these guys. So whoever you have contacts with, you might want to reach out and tell them that. The communications on that frequency is open to the public and anybody can hear it. So that's my last little complaint for the day.
And so were you saying what kind of frequency is it on?
It's GMRS, okay? Channel 14 was actually the channel they were on. GMRS shares FRS frequencies. So they could be using the FRS Family Radio Service without a license. You're not required. That's the stuff you go out to Walmart, pick up those little walkie-talkie, go beep, beep. You hear kids talking all the time. But they share that on GMRS, and GMRS is a required license. So you have to have a license for that. But since they share, and that's where it picked up at. It could have been FRS, but still regardless, if whether you're using FRS, any type of ham radio frequency, GMRS, the rule is no naughty words.
Got it.
And these were some very good naughty words. It's just a good thing they didn't ask me what that word was. I'm sure they already heard it in school, but anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Chad, do you mind if I sit down up here? My back's killing me.
No, go for it. Thank you for
Move
asking.
it up here. So, Dave Duncan, Vincent. Real quick question. I'm sorry, what's your first name, sir? Tom. Tom? Yeah, okay. So you already said it, but you're not here on behalf of AES Fluids or the Crossland project, correct?
No.
So you cannot guarantee the safety of the project in, that there would be no negative community impact for that project?
No, I can't.
Okay, we're fine. So, here,
If you could address the board instead of the audience.
I'm sorry, okay. I'll just talk about it because they're all questions. Tom, you stated that your solar panels are assembled in Ohio, correct?
Correct.
Where are the components manufactured before your?
Dave, please.
Where are the components
This is for public
manufactured?
comment to the board. I don't want there to be a debate
Gotcha.
between.
Where are the components for those panels manufactured before you sell?
You can ask your questions and I'll bring him up.
Okay.
And he can respond to what he likes to.
All right, and then next question is, you have some low inverters out there, Duff, and where they're manufactured, and what BSS units do you use? And do they produce hydrogen fluoride, hydrogen cyanide when they catch on fire? And one more thing real quick, for you guys in Levi, is I would like for you to check if AES, Crossvine, CenterPoint, or anybody has road permits for West Old Road 64, because they're using that road with their lawn trucks, their semi. West Old Road 64, which is cut West First Street off Heinberg and
Yes.
flies into the.
They're coming off 231, going through town and coming the back way, or the?
I don't know what they do, but they've actually had a truck parked on that side of the hill on that West Old Road 64. And then they take the line down, and dump it on the project. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Duncan. And again, I thanked him privately, but I do want to say that he sent some data.
Yeah, you read it,
It's
yeah.
been helpful. And yeah.
One more quick thing, I want to everybody understand, we have nothing against the people out there working, the truck drivers, any of the people. I have a problem with their planning, the lack of planning for safety.
Right. No, that's understood. Thank you. Anybody else?
Can I just say something about like Levi and that pull-in? Farmer to the south of me confronted the people using that yesterday. And I was informed that they said that group of people at the time said they had no idea they were not allowed to use that. They won't use it again. So I don't know if whoever's getting told this stuff is relaying stuff correctly. I have no idea. That's what they told me.
And with some of these, I know they have weekly meetings and some of them have less frequently.
That's why I think blocking it would be the best
Yeah.
route.
And if you,
I'd
recommend that you did watch the beginning of the meeting. He gave a pretty big, decent explanation of some of the actions he's taken, so.
I actually requested the construction manager at AES to take a picture of it, send it to me, and confirm that it was done. So I'll text him now and ask for an update on it.
No, I appreciate you looking into it though.
Yep, no problem.
Ms. Laturgo, do you want to make any other final comments or I don't know if there was anything you heard talking to people in the hallway or anything you've heard from just the meeting?
You want to answer the question?
You're welcome to come up.
Sure.
If you like, just for a couple minutes, and then we want to.
Can't remember them all.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question I think was about the solar panels made in Ohio. And where are they're right, that these are assembled in Ohio. The polysilicon that comes in them is made in one of three places. Wacker, which is German, OCI, which is South Korean, or Hemlock, which is Michigan.
Okay.
Okay, so those, and I suspect maybe you can maybe tell me if this is incorrect. You were wondering whether it comes from China?
No, I just wanted to point out that assembled and production are two different things.
Yeah, and so I wanna be clear on this. The, now I talked about First Solar because I had their TCLP. First Solar, if we were to build DUF 2,
That's where we would likely get our panels. They do not have polysilicon in there because they're thin film technology, so they etch the glass essentially. Those are 100% made, not only assembled, but manufactured full supply chain in the US. In addition to that, even when we're using polysilicon panels, now going forward, we use typically Q cells, which they make them from soup to nuts in Dalton, Georgia. So so it's not just an assembly issue.
I just want to make a point that when people tell me something's assembled, that doesn't mean it's manufactured.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think we have a very solid story to tell with respect to our panels that they are, these are assembled in Ohio with polysilicon coming from Michigan, South Korea, or Germany. But going forward, and that was because the polysilicon manufacturing supply chain didn't exist in the US. Now it exists.
So the concern and can I let you do this?
I'll allow it just make this last comment, because I really don't want this to be a debate between people in the crowd.
I'm concerned about software control and all that stuff and not, so of course the panels don't have that, but
Right.
like inverters and control systems, all that. I'm talking about ADS. We're talking about two different.
Understood, yeah.
But, okay, so anyway, go ahead. Next one was SunGlow inverter skids.
And what was the question?
Your inverter skids, were they made?
I have to check on that. I think those are made in either Thailand or Malaysia, but yeah, I'll get back to you on that. Can we take a note on that?
Yeah. And the last one was what ES best units do you guys use? And when they burn, do they produce hydrogen fluoride and hydrogen cyanide?
So the two that we're using going forward, one is LG, which is manufactured in Michigan. LG, you probably have an LG TV or you've seen them. The other one is Tesla, which you'd be aware of, and they make those in California and other parts of the US. And with respect to the off gases, I don't have the concentrations of each, but what we'll do is we'll get the exact concentrations if there's any hydrogen cyanide or any of that, and we'll come back and send it to the board exactly what percentage if there is any, okay?
On that subject, plume study, you can just send it to them.
Sure.
How many cells are involved with the plume study when you do the battery test, or a whole container, or 10 container, whatever, basic or details on that?
A plume study, I don't know, but I assume that a plume study would be, the way that you have to do it, it has to be controlled. So the question would be, does NFPA 855 require a certain number? They have controlled test circumstances. Off the top of my head, that is a long document, as you saw up there, which Commissioner Blessinger's going to read this week. So I don't know.
By the end of today.
By the end of today, yeah, but the controlled circumstances of that test, I don't have memorized.
All right, I appreciate it.
But it would be in there.
Yeah, thank you.
Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up for your project? I think you were giving us just general information. I appreciate it. Anything else that you think the board or the county needs to know?
My cell phone is on that
Yes.
my card. So, and I'm happy to come back it's just a drive for me. So, just let me know if there's more that you'd like to learn, or if you want us to bring any of our experts. Doing a general information, and truly that's what I was attempting to do here, is just to share some information without any ask in front of the board, I think is a really good thing to do. So I'd be happy to bring some experts with me.
Yeah, whatever our ask is, I know how to contact you guys, and I'm not afraid to do so. So I appreciate your time here today. Did either of you want to say anything?
Thank you for affording us so much time.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Actually, I will add, if anybody wants to do a tour of the site, I'd be more than glad to take a search and explain how things are built and how they work, et cetera, so.
The tour of the Duff area. Yeah. Do you have a card too?
Yeah, I do, I think that's a good shot, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be worthwhile to drive through and just, because when we went to the Pike County plant, I learned, that was an interesting thing to see what a battery system looked like in person and what the sites, so this would be interesting too. So, that'd be great, thank you.
I'll grab some cards now.
Mr. Chair, anything else? I'll go around the table one more time.
No, sir.
Auditor, commissioners,
No, sir.
anybody else from the public? Okay, we'll close the meeting. Thank you.
Oh, I have, yeah.